Live from Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, Sports Channel presents New York Mets baseball. Tonight, the Mets take on the Florida Marlins. Hello again, everybody. I'm Fran Healy, along with Ralph Kiner. Our colleague Rusty Staub will join us a little bit later on as the Mets take on the Marlins in the second of this three-game series. Before we look ahead to tonight's ball game, how about Jeff Kent in last night's game, Mr. Kiner?
Jeff Kent with a terrific game last night. A 3-run home run and a solo home run. 4 runs batted in, drove in all the runs as the Mets beat the Florida Marlins by a score of 4-3. He has really been coming on strongly and playing a good defensive game at second base, and the Mets have to be very happy about his progress.
And Ryan Thompson also doing a job in last night's ball game. But a new game tonight and the pitching matchup. Jack Armstrong on the mound for the Marlins.
Jack Armstrong, a player who started out with the Cincinnati Reds. In fact, in 1990, he was the starting pitcher in the All-Star game and got a no decision. He worked 2 innings in that ball game as the starter, and of course has moved on and has become a strong type pitcher for the Florida Marlins. He's won 7 and lost 10, so he's playing along about the way they are playing.
And on the other side of the field for the New York Mets will be right-hander Bret Saberhagen.
And Bret, of course, a Cy Young Award winner with 119 wins. He hasn't done that well for the New York Mets. His first year was last year. He won 3 ball games. This year he's won 6. And he has shut out the Marlins this year with a 3-hitter.
And the clubhouse here at Shea Stadium, the New York clubhouse, New York Met clubhouse, was closed for a long time this afternoon.
Yes, it was. It was a closed session in there. Of course, the Vince Coleman situation has not changed. No charges have been pressed to this date. And it's a problem that the Mets will have to look ahead to.
And Donald Fehr, along with Gene Orza, they were both here at the ballpark in the Met clubhouse meeting with the players. And Donald Fehr will talk to Rusty Staub in just a few minutes. So Donald Fehr will talk about the Vince Coleman situation, also the possibility of labor problems this season in Major League Baseball. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll go to Rusty Staub.
The Shea Stadium. We're going to talk with Donald Fehr, who is the head of the Major League Baseball Players Association. Donald, you came out here for a special meeting today. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Only to the following extent, Rusty. When I got back from Kansas City this morning, I saw the reports in the paper that attributed statements to Bret Saberhagen, and with all the controversy that's swirling around, we did what we usually do. I wanted to come out, have a meeting with the players, find out what was going on so we can mull it over and figure out what, if anything, the Players Association should do. So that's what we did this afternoon.
There seems to be some serious ramifications to this event that took place in California.
Well, any time you have an allegation of an explosive device of any sort being tossed around carelessly, much less around the vicinity of other people, there's going to be an inquiry, there's going to be an investigation, and you have to look at it. When it's coupled with suggestion that that was not isolated completely, which is what was in the paper this morning, then it bears some scrutiny, and that's what we're trying to do. I really don't know yet what if anything, is likely to come out of it, though. We'll have to see.
Is the players' relationship with the media getting that bad?
Well, I don't know how bad that bad is, but I think it's clear that there is an adversarial relationship between a number of the players on this club, if not more than that, and many members of the media. And there's a pretty high wall there. And it's almost as if they don't talk to one another as often as they talk past one another. And if there is anything that I can do, or the Players Association can do, to begin to break that down so that it can return to some semblance of normal, ordinary conversation, we want to try and do that, because this isn't fun for anybody.
Labor Day's coming. There's a lot of comments about the players and the possibility of a strike. Can you give us some comments about that?
Players are in a very difficult situation. The owners reopened the contract, as you know, last December
30
the 8th.
seconds now.
That's right. And they have essentially failed to give us a proposal since then. And the risk the players run is that the owners are going to want to begin bargaining late in the season and then possibly unilaterally impose their bargaining offer in January, when the players would have no leverage to do anything about it. And it's their delay which causes the difficulty at the moment. But there have been no threats made, no votes taken, anything like that. I just expressed a concern.
If the player decided to strike, if that was requested of the players, do you think those teams fighting for a championship would be as unanimous as the Player Association has been in the past?
Yes, I do. I don't have any doubt about that, whatever. Players understand why they enjoy the employment conditions that they have. And they want to be explained why this particular act is in their best interest and why it's the thing to do. But if they agree with it, yes. And if they don't agree with it, we wouldn't do it anyway.
Well, thanks for sharing this time with us.
Glad to do
Francis, I'm going to throw this to you, big boy.
Okay, Rusty Staub talking to Donald Fear, and now it's time for the lineups. And Marlin lineup is brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealers. Chuck Carr will lead it off. He'll be followed by Bret Barberie and then Jeff Conine. The middle three, Gary Sheffield, Oresta Estrada, and then Benito Santiago. The bottom three, Darrell Whitmore, Walt Weiss, and then Jack Armstrong.
And let's take a look at the starting pitching stats of Bret Saberhagen, brought to you by Meineke. Saberhagen 6-7 on the year. 2 of his wins against the Marlins, no losses. And he comes in with an earned run average of 3.36. He's allowed the opposition a batting average of 258. He has pitched 4 complete games this year, and 2 of them been shutouts, one of them against the Marlins. Bret Saberhagen.
And defensively, the Mets look like that. Murray, Kent, Bogar, and Bonilla in the infield. Orsulak, Thompson, and Burnitz in the outfield. Hundley behind the plate. And the umpires in tonight's ball game. Ed Rapuano will call the balls and strikes. Larry Vanover down at first base. Harry Wendelstedt at second base. And over at third base, Angel Hernandez. So a nice night for a ball game. It's hot. It's just the way the players like it. And you're looking at the Mets and the Marlins. The Mets trailing the Marlins by 8 games. The Mets 28 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who are taking on those St. Louis Cardinals tonight. And Chuck Carr will lead it off.
Chuck played a little bit with the New York Mets. Saw a little bit of action.
He's 1 for 5 in last night's game. And he fouls the first pitch off, strike 1.
Leads all rookie players in stolen bases in the National League. He got his first Major League home run for the Marlins, and it turned out to be a beauty, a grand slam home run.
Those stolen bases, Ralph just alluded to. 30 stolen bases. He's been caught 13 times. Fouls the pitch off.
Looked real bad in last night's ball game against Doc Gooden. Could not even come close to the curveball. Most stolen bases on an expansion team. Tommy Harper way out in front. Pat Kelly, Joe Foy, Chuck Carr, Dave Collins, Chuck Hidden.
Down and in. 1 and 2. A lot of people forget that Tommy Harper was in the 30-30 club.
Pretty good ball player.
Oh, he was a good one. Told me he turned his career around when he played on the same team or played winter ball with Frank Robinson. His car flies to left field, and Orsulak over in foul territory makes the grab 1 down. Tommy Harper said what Frank Robinson told him is you can't be afraid when you're at the plate.
I don't think you have to go to Frank Robinson to find that out. If you don't have confidence that you can hit without being worried about being hit,
well, he
you're
said
not going to make it.
He said it helped him tremendously playing with Frank. As you look at Bret Barberie. Barberie was 0 for 3 in last night's game. You see his stats: 1 home run, 3 RBIs.
And he has the distinction of getting the first hit ever by a Marlin ball player. He got it off of Oral Hershiser in the opening day game.
He takes ball 1. He was selected by the Marlins with their 3rd pick in the first round of the expansion draft. He was the 6th player overall. Swung on and missed, 1-1. He was picked up from the Montreal Expos. The Expos were very high on this guy at one time.
Yeah, they should have been back in 1991. He hit .353 for Montreal in 57 games.
1-2. And of course, Dave Dombrowski, the general manager, who we had on the pregame show, the young general manager with the Miami Marlins, or Florida Marlins, was the GM in Montreal when the Expos signed Bret Barberie. Barberie hits a 1-hopper. Bogart to Murray, 2 down.
Bogart makes a good play here on the high hop as he stays in front of it. Gets the glove right there where he should have had it. Picks up the out at first base.
So Tim Bogart impressing Dallas Green with his defense since being inserted into the Mets lineup. And you're looking at Jeff Conine. Strike one on Conine.
No, when you think of Rookie of the Year, you think only of Mike Piazza, the Dodgers. Conine has more hits than Piazza. He's hitting about as high, 311. Well, he's not nearly close to him in home runs and runs batted in.
He has 7 home runs and 48 RBI. 1-1 now on Conine.
But he is certainly second to Piazza for the Rookie of the Year award at this point.
Up high, 2-1, but you would say a distant second.
Is that what I would say?
I would say a distant second, because let's face it, Piazza's a catcher. 2-1 pitch.
Well, that does make a big difference. The other thing is Piazza's playing in the Dodgerville, where they read and write about all these players, and he's down in Florida where he doesn't get much print, but he's having himself a terrific year.
And he's a world-class racquetball player. Won the 1985 Junior National Championships. 2-2 pitch. Fly ball left field. Orsulak is under it. And makes the grab for out number 3. So the Marlins go down 1-2-3 here in the first on the Modell scoreboard. 0-0, and we'll be back. Well, the Mets starting lineup is brought to you by Connecticut Tourism. Connecticut, we're full of surprises. And Ryan Thompson will lead it off for the Mets. He'll be followed by Joe Orsulak and then Eddie Murray. Bobby Bonilla, who's playing third base tonight, will bat number 4, to be followed by Jeremy Burnitz and then the red-hot Jeff Kent. The bottom 3, Todd Hundley, Tim Bogar, and then Bret Saberhagen.
And let's take a look at the starting pitcher for the Marlins, brought to you by Meineke from Inglewood, New Jersey, lives in Neptune, New Jersey. 7-10 in the year, 1-1 against the Mets. His earned run average 4.38. The opposition hitting .263 against him. He has not had a complete game. This is his 22nd game start.
Jack Armstrong's first pitch, and Ryan Thompson fouls it back, 0-1. Thompson with 2 outs makes a fine plays in last night's ball game. With the bat, he was 2 for 4.
Made probably the best catch of the year, robbing Gary Sheffield of a 3-run home run in the first inning with a brilliant catch of a ball over the fence in center. Down low to Ryan Thompson, 1-1. We showed highlights and pregame show from last night's game. So Jeff Kent doing the job with 2 home runs in last night's game. Ryan Thompson with 2 hits. Fine plays outside to Thompson. 2-1. When you look at his stats at Tidewater, he hit .259 with 12 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Not too impressive, and especially impressive, the 82 strikeouts in 60 games. Takes a fastball on the inside part of the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He did win the home run hitting contest in AAA at the All-Star game. He has the tools, there's no doubt about it, but he's got to learn to get the bat in the ball. If you watch Mets Inside Pitch, a weekly show here on Sports Channel, we had highlights from that home run hitting contest. He's got a great personality for New York if he hits. And the 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, strike 3. And defensively for the Marlins, Estrada, Barberie, Weiss, and Sheffield in the infield, left to right in the outfield, Conine, Carr, and Whitmore. Santiago behind the plate. And the batter now will be Joe Orsulak. He was 0 for 4 in last night's game, hitting just over 300. He takes ball 1. Since the All-Star break, he's hitting .291 with 1 home run. That was a big one. 3 runs batted in. Outside, 2-0. Well, Donald Fear joined us here on Sports Channel tonight talking about some of the happenings here at Shea Stadium. We will be joined by Jerry Hunsaker in a few moments. Orsulak drives the ball deep right field. It's way back on the warning track, and it's a home run!
Home run, Joe Orsulak.
Well, Whitmore got his glove on it, and then it popped out of his glove for the home run. Armstrong giving up his 18th home run of the year.
So it's 1-0 Mets here in the bottom of the first.
Well, he gets a fastball and just does hit it far enough. Whitmore with his glove on the ball. It's in the glove, but comes out and goes over the wall.
Eddie Murray, the batter, fouls the ball off.
Mets have now hit a home run in each of their last 10 games. The last time they had a home run in each of their last 9 games was last year, was in 1990, 2 years ago. They've hit 17 home runs in their last 10 games.
And the 0-1 pitch to Murray is pulled foul. We've talked about the big gloves, how they have helped the outfielders over the years. That time there, the big glove might have hurt an outfielder. A lot of times you won't get a good feel when the glove is so big it'll hit in a certain area of the glove and you won't get that good feel to it. And then it acts like one of those highlight deals that those guys have where, you know highlight, Ralph, don't you?
I've seen them.
Foul out of play. The ball was in the glove and then flew out of the glove. So the big glove in that case hurt an outfielder.
6 home run for Orsulak.
And the 0-2 pitch. Down low, 1-2.
It's the 3rd time in Mets history they've hit home runs in each of 10 games in a row.
Murray in last night's ball game was 1 for 3.
Yeah, he's hit well in the second half of this season, hitting .390 with 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in.
Way inside, 2-2. 66 RBIs on the season for Murray. There's a lot of people are speculating that he'll be involved in a trade in the not too distant future. Fouled off.
He would make a ideal designated hitter.
He can certainly drive in those runs, hit home runs. Hits the ball to the left side. Sheffield charges, flips to first in time. Just did get Eddie Murray. 2 down.
Well, it's a little bit of an adventure when Sheffield and Destrade get involved. Sheffield with 21 errors, Destrade with 13. But Sheffield, even though that throw was not a good one, was able to get it close enough, and Destrade able to stay on the bag.
I heard the fans reacting in the background, and we put the replay of the home run on the Diamond Vision board here at Shea as Bobby Bonilla takes a strike. Bonilla with 21 home runs.
Curtis in his career, he's had 21.
Takes outside, 1-1.
He's hitting .262 since the All-Star break with only 1 home run. He's driven in 4.
And the 1-1 pitch. Foul out of play. Those 21 home runs tie him for 6th place in the National League. And the 1-2 pitch down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Bobby Bonilla wants to play. He's durable. He's played in every game this season for the Mets. One of 3 players in the National League to do that. There's a line shot left center field. Extra bases for Bonilla. They're going to second base with a double.
Rene Latzman, the manager of the Marlins, seeing 2 balls well hit here in the first inning off of Jack Armstrong. Bonilla shows his strength. He drills this to left center, and the ball does not come down. It just carries on out there for Bonilla's 19th 2-base hit.
And Jeremy Burnitz will be the batter. Bobby Bonilla on second base, and Burnitz takes a strike from Jack Armstrong. We're in the bottom of the first here. 1-0, the Mets on top of the Marlins. That run coming on a home run off the bat of Joe Orsulak. Swung on and missed. 0-2.
Burnett's a victim of some awfully good pitches lately. That first pitch to him was right on the inside corner, and he took it for a strike. Swung at a bad pitch, something that you do when you don't have that confidence. He's had just 6 hits in his last 34 at-bats, hitting 176 since the All-Star break. But the pitching has been very tough to him.
Up high, 1-2.
One thing you have to learn when you're first coming into the major leagues, that pitchers will have streaks where they'll make great pitches on you, and you can't let that get your confidence. Eventually you'll get some pitches to hit. He's really had some tough pitches to handle since that great series he had against the Marlins.
Up high, 2-2. When he first was recalled from the minor leagues, it was expected he would go back to Norfolk. Well, he has started 17 of the last 19 games in the outfield for the Mets. Two-two pitch to Burnitz. Pulls the ball to the right side, foul. So we'll do it again at 2-2. You just tuned in. Vince Coleman is not in the lineup tonight. Once again, the outfield from left to right. Orsulak in left, Thompson in center, and Burnitz in right field. Inside on Burnitz. So we have a full count now. I mentioned the Phillies leading the division by 5 games over the Cardinals. Cardinals have a 4-0 lead at the vet in the first inning. Greg Jeffries leading the league in hits. And the 3-2 pitch, ball 4. Burnitz walks.
Boy, that was a close pitch that he took there. He got the call, and that could give him a little bit of help. If he's called out on strikes right here, and that was close, the confidence level goes even lower.
No runners now on first and second, and the batter will be Jeff Kent.
Kent was beaned by Jack Armstrong earlier this year. He's been hit 6 times, but boy, has he been hot.
This guy has 12 home runs, 46 RBIs. Some pretty good production out of the second baseman. Takes a strike. And he has a shot at 20 home runs this season.
He has a shot at the record for Mets second baseman for home runs, 15, and for runs batted in, 58. And guess who holds that record? The guy you just mentioned, Greg Jeffries. Most home runs ever by a Mets second baseman, and most runs batted in, Jeffries.
And the 0-1 pitch to Kent. Breaking ball outside, 1-1. We talked about him before. You'd be hard-pressed to think of a middle infielder like a second baseman who's a dead full hit.
Well, the greatest second baseman as a hitter was Rogers Hornsby, and he was not a dead ball
No.
hitter. He hit the ball the other way.
This kid hit 2 home runs last night, pulled 2 home runs, and a 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1.
Both of his home runs last night coming on fastballs. His second 2-home run game this year, and his second in his career, as a matter of fact. Short career. It's only his second year in the majors. Brings a 6-game hitting streak into this game.
Get off the end of the bat. And that'll do it for the Mets. Armstrong almost throwing that ball away. Well, the Mets strand 2, but they pick up 1 on a home run off the bat of Joe Orsulak. We played 1 here at Shea Stadium, and on the Modell scoreboard, it's 1-0 New York. Well, you look at the line score from Shea Stadium in New York. Mets 1, Marlins 0, and we're joined now in the booth by Assistant Vice President of Baseball Operations here at Shea Stadium, Jerry Hunsaker, and of course Ralph Kiner on Jerry's left. I'm Fran Healy, and Jerry, tell us about the events going on here at Shea Stadium.
Well, it wasn't one of my more pleasant days here. I did very little in the line of baseball work today. I dealt mostly with the controversies that have been surrounding this club here for the last month, and in particular the incident last night that happened in our clubhouse. I've talked to people like the National League president, Bill White. I talked to the editor of a local newspaper. I've talked to the Players Association. I've talked to players. I've talked to agents, and it's been a very difficult day.
Well, Gary Sheffield, the batter, 1-1 on the Marlins third baseman. What is going to transpire?
Well, I think the most important thing, Fran, that happened today is that the club has taken a stand. The club issued a very strong statement today to the players that these types of practical jokes, pranks, whatever you want to classify them as, are not going to be tolerated by the organization.
And Bogar makes a fine play.
And more importantly, that we are going to put some teeth into this, that anyone that violates these parameters, meaning anyone that continues to delve into these types of activities, are going to be strongly reprimanded with swift and severe punishment that's going to involve a fine and/or suspension.
Jerry, the incident last night was not publicized to any degree, but could you explain that for fans who might not know about it?
Well, it's actually a developing story as far as I'm concerned. I didn't even know about it until I got to the office today. I was down in the clubhouse after the game for 15 or 20 minutes, and everything was calm and quiet, and I left and came back into the office this morning, was greeted by Jay Horowitz, who promptly discussed the incident with me last night, and I'm still gathering the facts into this incident. Apparently, one of the players took a liquid bottle of Clorox or bleach and squirted it in the direction of some of the media people, and the liquid went on to some of the articles of clothing, and apparently got onto someone's forearm and the back of their neck, and that's really all I know. No one has been identified as the culprit here. We addressed the team today, as I mentioned. We asked members of the team to step forward that were involved, so hopefully somebody here tonight or tomorrow will step forward. If they don't, we're going to have to delve into it a little closer on our own.
This came on the top of the incident of Vince Coleman throwing the explosive device at an area toward fans in L.A.
Right. It was obviously a very difficult week for off-the-field activities here. And the sad thing, Ralph, is that this club came out in the second half, and we got off to a pretty good start. We had a good road trip. We had a win here last night. We're starting to play better, and as dismal as this year has been, you search for some positives, and I think you can find them. We've got some talented youngsters here that are starting to play well, you know, and there are some positive things happening. And so to have an incident like this come up back to back is rather demoralizing to me.
Well, it's 2-1 on Benito Santiago. 2 men down. We're in the top of the second inning. It's 1-0. The Mets on top of the Marlins. We're talking to Jerry Hunsinger. As Benito Santiago fouls it off. It's 2-2. Jerry, what about the Vince Coleman situation?
Well, that's, of course, in the hands of the fire department and the district attorney at this point. We were notified yesterday that there was additional evidence that they were considering in this case, and we would expect to hear sometime in the next day or so.
There's a one-hopper to Jeff Kent at second base, flips to Murray, and that'll do it for the Marlins here in the top of the second inning. We played 1.5, and on the Meineke scoreboard, it's 1-0 New York. Well, there's the line score from Shea Stadium here in New York. 1-0 Mets on top of the Marlins. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Todd Hundley, Tim Bogart, and Bret Saberhagen scheduled up. Fran Healy along with Ralph Kiner. We're joined by Jerry Hunsinger here in the broadcast booth, talking about, I guess, the black cloud that's been hovering above Shea Stadium.
We need a good thunderstorm to get that out of here, don't we? Jeez.
Cleanse the air.
First pitch to Hundley is fouled off. Any moves on the horizon for the Mets?
Well, Joe and I have been talking to a lot of clubs here in the last week, and you'd think the action would pick up here as the trading deadline comes to an end, but I can't say that there's a whole lot of activity going on for us right now.
0-1 pitch to Hundley. Hold the right side foul.
The end of this month is the trading deadline.
Right, couple more days.
Why will it be quiet? Why is it quiet?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. You know, you can, I guess, look at it two ways. One, we don't have the personnel that the clubs looking for personnel are looking for, or there are other players out there with superior talent to ours that teams are trying to secure, and possibly if they don't get that particular player, they'll come back to us.
1-2 on Hundley. Now, Jerry, as far as a guy like Joe Orsulak, his name has been mentioned quite a bit as possibly going to Toronto. If that doesn't happen, do you have to talk to Joe and assure him of certain things?
Well, I've got a good relationship with most of these guys, and the veteran players know that they're all subjected to trade rumors and possible trades, and we kid around a lot. It's not a day that goes by these days when I walk in the clubhouse and I go pick up the telephone and yell over and say, Eddie, it's for you. Come on. Come on over here. It's Beloit calling. But you know, I think they all know it's part of the game, and they've all dealt with it pretty good.
3-2 on Todd Hundley. Pops the ball up to the left side. Sheffield calling for it. Makes the grab, 1 down. You mentioned Eddie Murray. Everybody predicting that Eddie Murray won't be with the Mets at the end of the year because he's good enough where he can help a contender. Is that necessarily so?
Well, I mean, this man for me has been one of the bright spots in the last 2 years. I mean, this guy can just flat out hit, and at 38 years old can still hit with the best of them, and he certainly, in my mind, can help a contending club. It, again, just depends on the fit and who's looking for what.
Tim Bogart takes inside, ball 1. Bogart's stats, 245, 1 home run, 15 RBIs. Up high, 2-0.
This kid Bogart is a classic example of how difficult it is for a young player to break into the major leagues in New York if he isn't a very heralded player in the minor leagues. This kid, I think, has surprised most everybody.
He loops the ball down left field line.
Bogey.
Foul ball.
You know, this kid is just a steady blue-collar worker that had a good minor league career, not a great minor league career, but he's the kind of guy that you can find fault with because he's not classified as a star, and you can pick apart that, well, he doesn't run quite good enough, and I don't know if he's ever going to hit. But this is the kind of kid that you give him an opportunity, and he's got great makeup. He's a hard worker, and he's done a solid job for us.
He told me in an interview that he wanted to change the minds of management, that he could play every day as a foul pitch off. Has he changed your mind?
Well, I think he's well on his way. I think, like I said, he's been one of the pleasant surprises of the season. Again, you know, he's done a nice job, but he's hitting 245 right now. And again, it's kind of tough being in New York to say, can this kid play shortstop every day? It's tough to give kids the benefit of the doubt unless they burst on the scene and put up dramatic numbers.
Hold to the left side. Sheffield flips to the Strata. 2 down. I just mentioned Gary Sheffield. I was told by Randy Smith out there in San Diego that there wasn't very much interest in Gary Sheffield from any club. Does that surprise you?
Well, in a way, you know, Gary Sheffield is a guy that's had a kind of a spotty past. I mean, he was a problem in Milwaukee. He had to deal with all the allegations that he quit on him, and you know, when they sent him back to the minor leagues, and then he came up and he quit again on him supposedly because he wanted out of there. And you know, he's been classified in some areas as a troublemaker. So you know, you get stigmatized, and even though you're a good ball player, you know, your reputation and your past, good and bad, go with you.
Yeah, he actually admitted to making errors on purpose just to get away from Milwaukee. That doesn't sit well with anybody.
No.
And the 1-1 pitch to Saberhagen, pulled to the left side. Sheffield gloves it, flips it while on the run, and that'll do it for the Mets here in the 2nd inning. And on the Connecticut Tourism scoreboard, we've played 2 here at Shea, and it's 1-0 New York.
What can get these 3 guys together in one room?
Lunch!
No, the Baseball Summer Fantasy Contest.
That's right! Sportschannel, WFAN, Newsday, and 7-Eleven want you to be a winner of a baseball fantasy.
6 lucky fans will win one of these great prizes.
Watch the Mets from the broadcast booth, from a luxury suite, see batting practice from the field, meet your favorite Mets.
Now here's what you have to do to win.
Look for entry blanks at participating 7-Elevens and in Newsday.
Hey, that sounds great, but how about lunch?
Oh, there's a break in the action. Ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because it won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light. 1-0. The Mets on top of the Marlins. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Fran Healy with Ralph Kiner, Rusty Staub. We're joined in the booth by Jerry Hunsaker. And Jerry, Rusty talked to Donald Fear before the ball game, and Donald Fear said that when he came over here today, he's concerned with the relationship between the players here in New York on the Mets and the media. Are you concerned with that?
Well, I think we've been continually concerned about it. In fact, Dallas reiterated to the players today what he told them when he first came in, that he knew there was a problem here between the players and the media. He didn't want to run from it. He wanted to address it up front, and he wanted the players to act professionally and responsibly toward the media. And in his mind, and I agree with him, I think we made some strides in that area. And then the events of this last week, I think, kind of were a slap in the face to Dallas. He felt that way anyway, that the players kind of quit on him or laid down, and the relationship has started to deteriorate again. And you know, we've all got to work together and make it work. The media is part of the game, the players are part of the game, the fans are part of the game, and we should all coexist together.
Darryl Whitmore drives the ball to deep right field. Burnett has room and makes the grab. 1 down.
Well, Burnett started with the Mets in center field. He showed a lot of talent out there, and he gets a good jump on this one. And it looks like he will be a right fielder for the New York Mets if all things work the way you'd like to see them work with Thompson in center.
Well, he would get my vote. Of course, it's fun for me to see some of our kids come up here after people continually blast our farm system for not producing players. And Jeremy Burnett certainly is a player in my mind, and hopefully will be here for a while.
Walt Weiss, the batter, takes inside from Bret Saberhagen with 1 man down. Here in the top of the 3rd, it's 1-0 Mets.
You know, you talk about how difficult it is for players to play in New York, and you have to find a certain kind of player that can deal with the media and the extra pressures that New York brings. Well, that kid out in right field is a kid that can handle this whole situation up here. He's a tough kid. He's mentally tough, he's physically tough, very committed, very dedicated. I mean, if there's a guy that inhales baseball, it's this kid. So, you know, I'm pulling for him.
He plays the right way. He plays all out. The fans love that.
1-1 pitch to Weiss. He fouls the ball out of play. 1-2.
One thing that I think New York fans will not tolerate is someone who doesn't give you that full effort.
I agree, and Joe McIlvaine and I have already talked about that, and as we make changes on this club, I think you're going to see more of those kind of people come onto our ball club, and the Ryan Thompson's like that, and Joe Orsulak, who I hope is with us past this year, is like that. Ken is a hard-nosed player.
Fly ball left field. Orsulak is under it and makes the grab. 2 down. You think, and I know this is obviously projects into the future, that Vince Coleman will be at this ball club after the season?
Well, that's difficult to say. Right now, I'd say he will be. I mean, you look at the events off the field and say, is that going to muddy the water? And we don't know where this investigation is going at this point. But I think Vince has done a credible job really on the field. I mean, he's made his share of errors. He's going to botch plays, but I don't think it's for lack of effort. I mean, I think there's differences between errors of omission and errors of commission. And Vince, I think for the most part, has played hard. He's swinging the bat pretty well. He's stealing bases again. He's stayed healthy. So, we've got to try to stay objective in this thing, and we're here to win baseball games. We're going to have to ultimately make a decision whether Vince Coleman can help us win games next year.
Outside of Jack Armstrong, 1-1. You mentioned trying to stay objective. When you listen to the media or you pick up a newspaper on the front page, it says, get him out of here. Does that have an effect on you? Base hit in the center field for Jack Armstrong.
Well, I don't really think the media impressions of people have an effect on us. I mean, if we let the media dictate what we did with players and who stayed and who didn't, I mean, it would be a sorry state of affairs in running a ball club. But I do think in our own mind we have to stay objective and not let our own evaluations be tainted by non-baseball activities, although you do get to a point where you have to say, is this person a disruption on the ball club, and is he becoming a negative force on the club? I think if you get a player that has come to that point, then I think you have to think about making a change.
0-1 pitch to Chuck Carr is pulled to the right side. Saberhagen goes over. Murray opts to go to second, and they get the force. Well, Jerry, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
All right, my pleasure.
And we'll see you Friday in St. Louis on the Modell scoreboard. After 2.5 here at Shea, it's 1-0 Mets. You're watching all the action tonight on Sports Channel, and on Friday night we'll be right back at you from St. Louis. The Mets and the Cardinals. That's Friday night at 8:30. Subaru Mets on deck at 8:15. That's live and exclusive right here on Sports Channel. Ralph will be on assignment with Rusty.
I have been given the distinction of joining a party that Rusty will cater, which he has done for several years up at Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame ceremonies on Friday night. And he is brought in as a special consultant and chef.
I don't know if they're going to have as much respect for Rusty now that he's on that diet. What do you think?
Well, he might slip a little bit.
Ryan Thompson steps in, takes a big rip at a fastball from Jack Armstrong. 0-1. So you guys will be at Cooperstown. Reggie Jackson will be inducted into the...
I'll say hello to Reggie for you. I know you were very close to Reggie when he played for the Yankees.
Have a couple sandwiches on me up there also, Ralph, at the barbecue.
Sounds like a good idea.
Frank Cashin will be up there. 0-1 on Ryan Thompson. Breaking ball up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Frank Cashin will be up there. His old announcer from Baltimore being inducted into the broadcaster's wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Chuck Thompson. Inside to Ryan Thompson. 2-1.
Here's the play we talked about. One of the best catches of the year right here as he takes a home run away from Sheffield. It would have been a 3-0 start for the Marlins. Instead, they scored only 1 run, and the Mets came back to win that game by a score of 4-3. Thompson also made another brilliant catch.
2-1 on Thompson. Outside 3-1. Thompson, an outstanding schoolboy basketball player.
You can see that right there. Made a great catch on Santiago in the second inning.
And the 3-1 pitch hit off the end of the bat to the left side. Weiss charges, flips to Estrada. 1 down. Estrada he kind of snatches at that ball, doesn't he? With that glove.
Footwork over there is very good, but he has made 13 errors. And right here, the throw by Weiss, and he makes the backhand catch there.
They used to call Chris Chambliss the snatcher because he would snatch at the ball. Joe Orsulak takes a strike, 0-1.
Estrada played in Japan for 3 years and led the league in home runs over there and was a DH, so he hasn't played much baseball defensively.
And the 0-1 pitch popped up to left field. And Jeff Conine makes the grab. 2 down. So 2 men are gone, and the batter will be Eddie Murray. Year after year, this guy puts up the stats. Right now, he's batting .275 with 15 home runs and 66 RBIs. One and 0 on the Met first baseman. Nice crowd on hand here tonight. Second game in this 3-game series. The finale will be tomorrow afternoon. Murray hits the ball off the end of the bat into center field. His first hit of the game. He's now 1 for 2. Now the batter will be Bobby Bonilla. With 2 men gone here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. If you just tuned in, it's 1-0. Mets on top of the Marlins. That 1 run coming on a home run off the bat of Joe Orsulak in the 1st inning. Down and in. 1-0. Nice to see Gene Michael here at the ballpark today, Ralph.
The stick working for the New York Yankees in the ballpark to see what's going on over in the National League.
A little scouting, possible trades. One and 0 on Bonilla. Fouled off, 1-1. So big weekend in Cooperstown. Most of the Hall of Famers go back there, Ralph, for the ceremony?
35 or 40 of them show up. Last year, I think they had their highest total ever attending the ceremonies. It's a gala occasion.
Chet Williams is always there, right?
Chet has been there every year for the last 8 or 9 years. He never came for a long period of time. He came up one year and enjoyed himself so much, he said, I'm coming every year.
There's a 1-hopper to short. Weiss making the grab over to Estrada. That'll do it for the Mets. Here in the 3rd, they strand a runner, failed to score on the Modell scoreboard. It's 1-0 New York. Well, back here at Shea Stadium, it's 1-0 Mets on top of the Marlins, and here's a Rusty Staub.
Thanks, Francis. Bret Barberie will lead it off for the Florida Marlins. Mets won the first game of this series. Bret Saberhagen leading 1-0. As you see, Barberie has grounded out in the 1st inning. Fly ball down the right field line. Could be trouble. Foul ball. Very close. Game of inches.
Take a look at it again. Ball just going foul.
It's a warm night. Barberie taking a lot of time to get back to the plate. Wants to have his composure. As you see, he has not had a hit in his last 9 at bats. Working on 10. That one should drift out of here. Nope, it's coming back into the ballpark. Orsulak has it in foul territory. 1 down. Shea Stadium, the ball has a tendency to do that, to come back toward the ballpark. That's normal. There are some parks where the wind is more of a factor in pushing it one way or the other. Jeff Conine 0 for 1. Line shot to right field for a base hit. Conine has handled Saberhagen as a right-handed hitter probably as good as anybody. He has not had a lot of at-bats, but he has 4 hits in his 7 tries against Saberhagen, and they've been ropes.
Well, he's batting over 300, having a fine season with the Marlins, and here he in and outs the ball, hits the ball hard into right field.
He has really worked Saberhagen the other way, and very successfully. Sheffield now at the plate. He grounded out to Bogart. Bogart made a nice play. Breaking ball misses.
What, does he have an unorthodox stance? Hands
Really?
Way up, and then he's
Tucks that bat. Watch the top of the bat. It's way out and fouls that ball straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
only one other hitter I've ever seen do that with the bat was Richie Allen. And when I was in the minor leagues, a guy emulated Richie Allen by tipping his bat. He went from about a 320 hitter to about a 220 hitter.
In a heartbeat.
Oh.
Fans would like to remind you that Mets baseball is brought to you by Chemical. Expect more from us. Wide stance, hands high, bat flicking. Ooh, close. Saberhagen almost caught the outside corner. Larry Vanover says he did not go, and I agree with him.
There's that moving around of the bat. He's got to take that bat a long way. He's been a good major league hitter.
2 balls, 1 strike, 1 down. Conine leading off at first base. Very short lead. Line drive, base hit. Orsulak playing extremely deep in left. Would have been a hit either way. So runners now at first and second, and that will bring up Orestes Destrade. Go ahead, Francis.
I was going to say, watching Sheffield swing the bat, you have to be extremely strong to do the things he does at the plate, and then still hit. Here's that stance and the preparation and all the activity, and then he picks up the base hit. Very active bat, to say the least.
Sheffield at first, Conine at second, 1 down. Destrade waiting on Saberhagen. Ball 1 on the breaking pitch. Marlins have not fared well on the road of late. They have lost 10 of 11. 17 of the last 20 on the road. Strike call. 1-1. It's the second game of a 10-game road trip for Florida. They will go on and play after the game tomorrow night here at Shea. They'll play 3 games in Montreal and a 4-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Fouled off, out of play, a ball and 2 strikes. In that game tomorrow night, Frank Tanana will take the mound. That game tomorrow, pardon me, is in the afternoon. That is the manager, Rene Lachman. Frank Tanana. He will pitch tomorrow's game. He will face Charlie Huff.
And Frank's wife, Kathy, on the pregame show talking about the auction next week.
Little looper to left, coming hard is Orsulak. He gets there. Has to get down close to the ground to get it. Orsulak plays a very deep left field. They had to come a long way to get that ball. It had a lot of hang time.
And here comes Orsulak making a fine play. Talking about that auction next week, it'll benefit the Leukemia Society. It'll be next Saturday in the parking lot here, I believe the left field area. It's an auction, and all proceeds will go to the Leukemia Society. It's put on by the Mets wives.
Should be a fun day, and for a very worthy cause. 2 down, runners still at first and second. Santiago waiting, fouls it off, strike 1. Saberhagen has won his last 3 games. Has a chance to bring his record to a 500 level if he wins the game tonight. He's at 6-7. Going for his 120th major league win. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. It fooled Santiago. No balls, 2 strikes. He is struggling in Florida, isn't he?
Oh, boy, is he having problems, not only offensively, but defensively. You see that right there, 3 hits in his last 22 at bats. But boy, has he been struggling throwing the ball. And of course, in San Diego, the pitchers really hurt him by not wanting him behind the plate when they were pitching.
Saberhagen with the 0-2 count. Let's see which way he goes. It looks like he's going in. He does. Fastball right by him. Second strikeout for Saberhagen. And on the Modell scoreboard after 3.5 innings, Mets lead the Marlins 1-0. Fans' copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Sports Channel is prohibited. Some youngsters enjoying the night at Shea. Mets with a 1-0 lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Harry M. Stevens, John Morley, Jim Brink, and the crew take care of those kids pretty good out here. Ooh, fastball way inside. Burnitz has got to get out of the way.
They do a nice job out here at Harry M. Stevens, and they have a nice buffet for day games and in the restaurant here at Shea Stadium. Here's that pitch. It's way inside. Burnitz jackknifing away.
Armstrong has hit 5 batters. Pretty aggressive pitcher, Armstrong. Line drive in the gap for Burnitz. Cutting it off is Whitmore, and he holds a very fast runner in Jeremy Burnitz to a single. Good defensive play to cut that off.
Oh, here's Burnitz going out and aggressively attacking that ball, hitting the ball in the gap, and Whitmore hustling on over and cutting the ball off. Good strong throw from Whitmore.
Cut off at second base by Barberie. So Whitmore very aggressive going after that ball, holds Burnitz at first and brings up Jeff Kent. He grounded right back to Armstrong his last time up. Two big home runs in the game yesterday. A fine defensive play. Had to get star of the game. Breaking ball. He goes down the right field line, and a fine play by Darrell Whitmore robs an extra base hit of Jeff Kent. Wow, what a play.
And the fans here in New York giving Whitmore a nice ovation. That was an outstanding play. That ball was by him when he caught it. Here it is again. Kent going the other way, and I'm sure surprising the Marlins. Now watch Whitmore. Ball's by him. Great play with the big glove.
Good call, Francis. He's got it. So two fine plays. He has stopped the Mets from scoring.
That big glove hurt him on the Orsulak home run, though.
Didn't exactly hold on to the ball, did it? Todd Hundley is the hitter. Armstrong trying to keep Burnitz close at first. He's 0 for 2 in his stolen base attempts. He's had 30 stolen bases in a season in the minors. Has not had any success in the big league so far running. Catching that outside corner, strike one. Armstrong, in his first season with Cincinnati, had such a great start, pitched in the All-Star game. Then things kind of turned around for him.
I believe he got into a big contract hassle with the Cincinnati Reds and then fell out of favor with Lou Piniella.
Getting a new chance with the Marlins. Going for his 8th victory of the season. He has 10 losses. Three for 8 versus Armstrong. Todd Hundley doesn't have his black bat anymore. He's got a white bat. He's down on the handle. We've talked about this a number of times, Francis. In the early part of the season, he was swing the bat well left-handed. He was choked up about 2 inches on the bat, hit some home runs. I guess I'm befuddled as to why he's back down there.
We'll research it, but maybe he changed bats, went to a lighter bat.
I think he's changed a lot of things. When you get to changing a lot at the plate, there's adjustments to make against certain pitchers. You start changing your own setup. A lot of times you just get confused. Then nothing works. 2 balls and a strike, 1 down. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 4th inning.
The other day I had the opportunity to interview Rod Carew for a future Halls of Fame show. It was a fascinating conversation with him talking about hitting. Of course, he made a lot of changes. The only person he confused was the pitcher as you look at Dallas Green.
Swing and a miss at a fastball. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And fans, day in and day out at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, and it never lets you down. So make it a Bud Light. Mike Cubbage giving the signs to Huntley saying, make it an extra base hit. We'll take an extra base hit to score Burnitz. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Burnitz, fouled off. So Dallas Green put the runner in motion.
Here it is again. Burnitz with a big jump off first base, and Todd Hundley fouling the ball off. Dallas Green giving the signs to Bobby Wine. Bobby flashing the signs to Mike Cubbage.
A lot of managers don't like to give the signs. Bobby Wine and Dallas Green have been together for a long time. Different stages of both their careers. In fact, Bobby Wine, we've talked about this before, a couple of times has been in order to become a manager both in Philadelphia and Atlanta, and just some strange circumstances, changes at the top, have cost him a chance to manage in the big leagues. He's a good baseball man.
Yes, he is.
Burnett's not going. High fly ball. Plenty room for Whitmore. That is a high fly ball. 2 down. That will bring up Bogart. Bogart in his first at bat grounded to Sheffield. Just before that, he had a shot down the left field line that just hooked foul. Those are the ones that kind of get to your heart. You think they're going to be in, and they just hook foul. You're rounding first base and you're trying to say to yourself, why me? We've both been there. You know it. Two down, a runner at first. One. Ball one to Bogart. The run scored on the home run in the first inning by Joe Orsulak. Mets with 10 games in a row in which they have hit a home run. That is Jeremy Burnitz at first. Destrade holding on. Marlins no runs on 3 hits. The Mets 1 run on 4 hits. Who would have thought that ending the month of July, the Mets would be 8 games behind the Florida Marlins. It just boggles my mind still. Fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Los Angeles Dodgers defeated the San Francisco Giants 2-1. Atlanta Braves were trailing by 8 going into tonight's action. They're playing in Colorado tonight. Kenny Lachman observing. There goes Burnitz. Ball fouled back. 1-2. St. Louis and Philadelphia battling head-to-head. They're 4-4 in the top of the 5th inning. We'll bring you all the scores on the Nobody Beats the Wiz scoreboard later in the game. We'll also drop a few scores for you if you're paying attention to that during the course of the game, to keep you abreast of what's happening. It's not September yet, but some of the races are getting a little tighter. Some are already tight, like the American League East. Pitch misses. 2-2.
The Minnesota-Seattle game, a lot of people interested in what Ken Griffey Jr. might do. Home run wise.
6 in a row now?
8 in a row. 7 in a row?
7 in a row. Did he get one yesterday?
Yes.
Then he is going to tie the record tonight if he gets a home run. Mattingly?
Dale Long.
Correct. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
Santiago looking at Rene Lachman flashing signs.
Not a bad move to send the runner. The 8-hole hitter is in there with 2 strikes. You don't want the pitcher to lead off the next inning. There he goes. Pitch out. It gets by Santiago. He's going to go to third base. Yes. Burnitz going all the way to third base. It was a pitch out called. Armstrong looked like he didn't have the signal.
Well, we'll have to take a look at it again. I would write a note about that myself. Now watch Santiago go out and the ball's thrown behind him. Armstrong looking into the dugout in disgust. There goes Burnitz all the way to third base. Scored a wild pitch. Now watch Santiago go out and the ball's thrown behind him. And it was a low pitch behind him, which made it even more difficult.
I would think they have to give a stolen base on that play too. He was running. You can't assume that's that he's going to be out. Line drive base hit. What a play for the Mets. Burnitz going all the way to third, and Bogart a 2-out single and an RBI. 2-0 Mets.
So give credit to Burnitz, Bogart, and some credit to Armstrong. Here's the base hit. Bogart getting the head of the bat out there and placing the ball in center field. So the pitch out caused trouble for the Marlins.
Saberhagen waiting. Ball one from the knees. Estrada does not hold on to the ball, so Bogart in easily.
Nobody throws from their knees better than Santiago. But he struggles when he comes out of the knee, off the knees. Now you saw that ball sail. That was a good camera shot right there. Ball sailing, and Estrada not being able to handle it.
Pop up, shallow right. Whitmore says I have it, and he does. That will end the inning. But the Mets score their second run using their wheels. And on the Moldell scoreboard after 4, Mets 2, Marlins nothing.
Ryan Weber with the new sport update. The kid just a swing away from baseball history. Ken Griffey Jr. with a grand slam off Kevin Tapani to extend his home run streak to 7 games. He can tie the mark shared by Dale Long and Don Mattingly Wednesday against the Twins. If it's sports you want, then it's new sports, sports news 24 hours a day, coming October 1st.
Fans, let's take a look at the AT&T Eye player. AT&T salutes this individual because you're not the same as anybody else. There's the I plan. I is for the individual. Darrell Whitmore, who made all 3 outs in the last inning. 4-year starter at defensive back for West Virginia. Degree in sports management in 1991. I wonder if he represents himself, Francis.
He should.
I guess you have to accomplish some things in the big leagues before you do that.
Do you? Here's this great catch. Watch this. The ball's by him. What a play by Whitmore.
Catches the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got a big night defensively in the positive vein. I suppose also in a negative vein for Whitmore in right field.
Boy, and he might have to get a new piece of lumber on that one. Saberhagen got definitely in the kitchen there. And there it is. He's not happy. He got my gamer, Mom. It's not fair. So he'll pine tar. Little stick him anyway.
Boy, the Marlins very high on this guy. They couldn't wait to call him out of the minor leagues. In fact, the Mets were down in Florida at the time when they called Whitmore up. Inserted him in the lineup and said he's playing.
He's got his hands filled tonight. Saberhagen has won 3 in a row. Has given up 3 hits so far. Ball fouled off. He shut the Marlins out 1-0 the first time he faced them on May 10th. They did get 8 hits off him the last time on June 30th, but he won that game 7-1. He has been stingy against the Marlins. Fouled straight back, a fastball, still 1-2. Strikeouts, no walks for Saberhagen. Only 10 walks this year. Non-intentional walks for Saberhagen. That's incredible. 123 in the 3rd innings pitch coming into tonight's play. He's walked no one. You can add 4 innings to that. 127 in the 3rd innings. And he's walked 14 people. 4 times it was intentional. That is a great record. He gets him. That tailing fastball comes and catches the inside part of the plate. Whitmore doesn't like it.
Well, this is what happens. The hitter might take his eye off the ball when it's a few feet away from home plate. Watch what happens to that ball. That ball runs back over the plate. It's a good pitch. He gave up on the pitch, and the ball came on back. We talked about velocity and movement on the ball. Biggest thing is that ball movement.
Son, if you see the replay, you'll be embarrassed. 1 out. Wall twice. Showing bunt for the ball.
A lot of rumors circulating around Walt Weiss early in the year that he might be traded away from the Marlins because he's had experience and has been a successful major league shortstop, but the Marlins have held on to him.
Strike called.
The Marlins have Brian Harvey, and I mentioned Rod Carew, who's a coach of the California Angels, and they were pretty disappointed that Harvey got away from that ball. He told me if they had Harvey, they'd have a 10-game lead in the West.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Big statement. Breaking ball down in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. Dombrowski here talking to Stick Michael today, the 2 general managers.
Think Stick might be talking about Brian Harvey?
I don't know.
Well, Dave Dombrowski told me in the pregame show.
It's a ground ball. Kent over. Good play. Gets it to Saberhagen.
Oh, Kent with a real good throw. Right on the money. Saberhagen over there covering first base. Here it is again. Murray unable to come up with it. Here's Kent. And the hard, strong throw to first, leading Saberhagen. Nice play. Mentioned Dombrowski talking to me in a pregame show, saying that the only way they would have traded Brian Harvey is if they were overwhelmed and were completely out of it.
They're 20 games out of it.
But they're still in front of the Mets.
No, I understand. Fastball misses. Ball 1 to Armstrong.
It would be a tremendous feather in their cap if they did finish the season in front of the Mets, the expansion team.
Very much so. 2 fastballs missed. 2-0.
All right, Harvey in the bullpen talking to the pitching coach Frank Rehberger. He used to pitch for the Giants many years ago.
Is he a former teammate of yours?
Yes, he was. He had good stuff. Hurt his arm.
3 fastballs have missed to the pitcher. So Saberhagen, who rarely walks anybody, 3 balls, no strikes to Jack Armstrong. Armstrong did get a single his last time up. There's a strike. It was his 7th hit in his 47 at-bats this year. Three balls, 1 strike. Top of the 5th, Mets with a 2-0 lead. Strike 2 called. Full count. Saberhagen comes back and gets the pitcher, strikes out his 4th batter. And on the Meineke scoreboard after 4.5, Mets 2, Marlins nothing. Ryan Thompson will lead it off. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out and hit a chopper to the shortstop. Mets with a 2-run lead. Nice crowd out at Shea today. A warm evening, but not too bad. Strike called on Thompson. Good crowd. Jack Armstrong against Bret Saberhagen. High fly ball, center field. Carr waiting on it. 1 down. That'll bring up Orsulak. Orsulak a home run to the 2nd, and then he flied to left field in the 3rd inning.
You're talking about that Brian Harvey before. With a lead, you keep him out at the ball game. He's been a dominant pitcher. He's in the running for the Rolaids Relief Man Award. He has a good shot. Lee Smith is injured now. Lee Smith was a dominant pitcher.
Yep. Harvey has been successful in 29 of the 31 opportunities he's had for a save. Tailing pitch, strike 1.
After your first time, if he did win the Rolaids Relief Man Award, that expansion pitcher wins it.
Curveball. Orsulak hits it well to right field, but Whitmore is there. 2 down. Whitmore, lots of action. In the 4th inning, he made all 3 outs. So 4 of the last 5 have gone to the right fielder. Murray, a ground out and a base hit. Strike on the outside corner. Outfield fairly deep for Murray. They give him the left field line, which is the way to play him. Doesn't mean he doesn't ever hit one down there, but consistently he probably covers the rest of the field a lot more. That's the whole idea of these defensive setups.
Well, here's a home run he hit against Armstrong earlier this year. He drives the ball over the right field wall here at Shea Stadium. That was one of two he's hit against Armstrong.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Did he check his swing? Yes. Angel Hernandez says he did not go around.
You know, we're talking about the Cardinals, Lee Smith. The Cardinals had a 4-0 lead over the Phillies. They're now in the 5th inning. The Phillies lead 5-4.
It is obviously a big series. Fouled straight back with the balanced play because of expansion. We're going to take a look here at the second home run of Eddie Murray.
Coming down in Florida. Murray driving the ball over the right field fence at Joe Robbie Stadium.
Got there in a hurry, didn't he? 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch misses. We have a full count. St. Louis, if they lose this game, will go to 6 out. They come back and win it. They're down to 4. Armstrong with the 3-2 delivery. Breaking ball, and Murray hits a shot to right for a base hit.
That's the proverbial hanger. That ball went up to home plate and sat there for Eddie Murray. Here it is again. Eddie went out and smoking that ball in the right field.
Well, he hooked that one. Had he got underneath that one, no telling. It brings up Bobby Bowl. He has a double and a ground out. I'm actually a little surprised that Estrada is holding Murray on at first. 2 down. Bonilla fouls it off to the left side. Strike 1. I mean, why hold him on now? Is Murray going to steal?
He does have 1 stolen base this year.
And after I revived you here in the
I know it.
We continued with the game.
He could definitely play behind Eddie Murray in this case, especially with Bonilla hitting. As you look at Renee Latchman, the manager of a couple major league teams.
No balls and a strike to Bobby Bowl. Oh, Murray jumped off first base big time. He was going to try to steal the base. He must have heard us. He got mad. He leaped off first base and then shut it down. Armstrong held on to it a little bit.
Here it is again. Look at this. Big jump.
Pretty good footwork.
I think he wanted to run, and he had such a big jump, he figured he's got a problem here.
Thought the pitcher was holding on too long. Whatever it was. He put the binders on in a hurry. No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball, but playing in the hole is Bret Barberie. That defensive play gets Bonilla. After 5, 2-0 Mets. Top of the 6th inning, Mets leading 2-0. Chuck Carr leads it off for the Florida Marlins. He's 0 for 2. Shows drag bunt. Murray playing in. Bonilla playing in. Tell you, it should not go unnoticed how Bobby Bonilla has bounced around from position to position and not handle it too bad, Francis. A little first, a little third, right field. It's not easy. Line drive to left, and Orsulak playing deep. That ball falls in front of him.
When Bobby was in Pittsburgh, he played third base. He made a lot of errors in a particular season, so they moved him to the outfield. That was the reason they gave. They're moving him to the outfield. He was not happy. He felt he was a better third baseman than they gave him credit for. He claims that Sid Bream, and Sid Bream was out that season with the injury, he felt losing Sid Bream, he picked up some throwing errors that Sid Bream would have saved him on.
Well, first basemen do take great pride in picking up those short hops here and there to help their infielders. That's one of the big things a first baseman takes pride in.
I'd love to be able to pick that ball out of the dirt. I remember one year Freddie Patek was bouncing a lot of balls over the first base in Kansas City. And one day he threw it and hit John Mayberry right in the leg. John picked it up and fired it back at him.
I would have went down for the count. Ball deep to right center. Barberie hit it a ton, and it's a home run. Tie score. Bret Barberie, big home run into right central. Saberhagen giving up his 11th home run, and it's very costly. Only the second home run of the season for Bret Barberie.
Well, the Expos were very high on Bret Barberie for a couple years. Then he was exposed to the expansion draft. He picked up by the Marlins, and he hits his ball very well. He hits this ball a long way here at Shea Stadium.
To right center. 2-2. Chopper to Kent. Over to first, and he will get Jeff Conine. 1 out. Take a look at the Meineke Discount Muffler multi-hit games. You see Conine, number 4 in the National League, behind Bagwell, Galarraga, and Gwynn. Jeff Conine, but he made a quick out. 1 pitch, 1 out. Brings up Sheffield, who is 1 for 2. Sheffield, line drive, but foul. Nice play down the line by the ball girl. You're checking the Wiz scoreboard. That's just running. So as that ball goes into right center, Burnitz is there. You're checking the scores from the Nobody Beats the Wiz scoreboard. 2 down.
We talked about Sheffield's approach to hitting. Had an outstanding season last year, leading the National League in batting average. He has a very active bat at home plate while waiting for that ball. If you're going to have that active a bat, you better get it started in a hurry. There's the guy who taught him right there, Doc Gooden.
Well, they are pretty close.
Doc told me he was his hitting instructor.
Fastball misses low. Ball 1.
Sheffield grew up in the house with the Doc. Doc is his uncle. They grew up in Tampa, Florida. And the disciplinarian was Doc's mom. Doc and Sheffield told me last year they'd get away with anything with the dad. Just hit and throw. Mom was tough.
Mom laid down the law.
Oh, that's what they said.
A ball and a strike to Estrade. It's an off-speed pitch, misses. 2-1.
They would tell me if they broke a window in the house with a ball, well, Dad could adjust easily, but Mom didn't like it.
Mom was not a happy camper. I guess when you come from Tampa, you can make tampering statements. Is that it? As he certainly did the last time we were in Florida.
Yeah, we asked Dave Dombrowski about Gary Sheffield, who was very vocal as to the fact he wanted Doc Gooden to pitch for the Marlins.
Line shot, but hooking foul. Still 2-2. He actually said that his staying with the Marlins might have a lot to do whether or not they try to make an effort to get Gooden when his contract is up.
I was talking to Jerry Hunsaker before and Ralph Kiner, and I mentioned Randy Smith of San Diego Padres told me that there wasn't very much interest in Gary Sheffield.
A tad controversial, no doubt about it. Some people are fearful of that. A pitch misses, full count. A world of talent. Seems that a lot of things buzz around him.
since his high school days. What he did in Milwaukee, though, you got to be very careful when you're picking up a player like that.
Chopper, still 3-2.
He was quoted as saying that he threw the ball away on purpose. You can't have that. That's something that cannot be tolerated. And it would make a team very, very nervous in securing his services. You're not really sure what you're going to get.
Full count. Fly ball, left center. Orsulak checking the center fielder. Now he knows he has it. That'll end it. But 2 runs in for the Florida Marlins in the top of the 6th. And on the Odell scoreboard, 2-2, Mets and the Marlins.
Well, Thursday, that's tomorrow night here on Sports Channel at 8 p.m. Catch At the Plate with Rusty Staub for great sports talk and insights. Tomorrow, call in and talk live with Rusty and his guest Steve Hurt from Elias Sports Bureau, the best in the business, and Scott Kamenecki. That's At the Plate with Rusty Staub tomorrow night at 8, live and exclusive on Sports Channel. Always an exciting show, originating from Rusty's on 5th.
Should be good. Scott Kamenecki really coming on strong for the Yankees. Line shot foul by Burnitz. He is 1 for 1, a walk. He has scored a run. And Steve Hurt, you know, a lot of people don't realize how much work that Elias really does in baseball. In my conversations with Steve, they occasionally represent Major League Baseball teams in arbitration hearings.
Oh, sure.
We're going to talk about that, how they figure out who the best players are at each position. Burnitz takes the ball outside, 1-1.
It's a great organization. A lot of people rely on their stats throughout sports.
Way inside, a hard breaking pitch.
Yeah, Seymour Siwap does an outstanding job over there. Let's not forget Seymour.
Yeah, we see Seymour all the time out here at the ballpark.
Yes, we do. That ball way inside. Jeremy Burnitz. You mentioned Carpenter likes to go inside. And there's the book with some stats.
See the Marlins name on it. They got all the dope on the Marlins.
Information, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. This day and age, we want to be careful.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm looking forward to seeing the show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here on Sports Channel.
Myself, looking forward to it. And don't forget Reggie Jackson entering the Hall of Fame this weekend. Reggie, the only player inducted this year. That breaking ball called strike 3. Burnitz looked at that hook. Ed Rapuano said strike.
Well, Jeremy Burnitz hitting the fastball, picking up a base hit his last time up, and whoa, we get that slow curveball right over the top.
He kind of quit on that pitch. Once you start quitting, you're dead. Bring up Kent. He has grounded to the pitcher. Hit a line shot to the right field, and that was the exceptional play by Darrell Whitmore. Hard ground ball, foul.
You can see where they're staying away from Kent because of his ability to pull the ball. But as you mentioned before, Rusty, hit the ball hard to right field.
If you throw that in with all the other times you pull, there are a lot of times where they're giving you pitches that you can handle. If you're looking the other way, you can help yourself a lot, and then you're going to get them to come back in more often. It's a little bit of a game between yourself and the pitcher. If you're always the same way, they can always pitch you the same way.
As you look at Rene Latchman, it's amazing the way Kent has adjusted to pulling the ball. But he told me it all started in high school when he was supposed to be a power hitter. He was a third, fourth hitter, so he decided to pull the ball.
Wow, right back at us. My word. Now, I handled that a lot better than you did today. I was on the ball. I just kind of bobbed and weaved. You were history. What are you doing?
That was coming right at my head. That's why I was leaving. Believe me. There's a lot of pressure up here.
You took off. I never saw you move that quick in 20 years.
I'll tell you the big thing is I get right behind my partner. So if I was going to hit anybody, it was going to hit him.
You're going to love it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just like carrying a glove up here.
Whew.
That was a good one. I got to be a little careful. That one hit me in the ear this year. My jaw was sore for about a week. Gee whiz.
See, I learned from your mistake.
My word, I turned to the left and was talking to John. I like the guy killed John. Oh, man. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out, and a major scare. Going down and away. A little too much. 2-2. Four RBIs in the game for Kent yesterday. Swing and a miss this time. Back-to-back strikeouts. Second and third strikeouts for Armstrong.
And they stayed away, stayed away, stayed away. That's what they're going to try to do with Jeff Kent. He has established himself as a real good pull hitter.
Good off-speed pitch that time. A little bit out front. Watch it.
Good shot right there. As Rusty mentioned, out in front of the ball. Armstrong's pitched well. The first hitter, Jeremy Burnett's, he got his hands to collapse on a breaking ball.
Good curveball again.
If you can get that hitter's hands to collapse, he can't do anything.
And the pitchers that get the breaking ball over early in the count have a tendency to be more successful. Everybody wants to hit the fastball. That fastball in a good location for the pitcher, not the hitter. 0-2.
Kind of fouls up the hitter's mind. You saw Todd Hundley right there, a pretty good fastball hitter, take that pitch. Maybe looking for something off speed because Armstrong threw it the first pitch and threw it over the plate.
Now he's choking up on the bat. How about that? Pitch outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now, did he waste that pitch? At one time in baseball, you could not let anybody get a hit on an 0-2 pitch. That's gone away. Now they'll fool around with the corners.
Breaking ball, chopper to the second baseman. Barberie to Estrade. 3 up, 3 down after 6 on the Modell scoreboard. 2-2. We'll be back. Benito Santiago will lead off the 7th. And for the play-by-play, a guy who will be at that Hall of Fame weekend in Cooperstown. A guy who probably should not only be in the Hall of Fame as a baseball player, but maybe should be in the Hall of Fame as in the announcing wing. Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Rusty, and
I'm going to make you go up there twice.
Be quite an honor, although the first one was a great honor as Benito Santiago fouls off the fastball. Armstrong 100 pitches and Saberhagen 84. As Rusty and Fran were talking about Saberhagen, no walks. He doesn't walk anybody. And the curveball hit to the third baseman, fielded by Bonilla, and the throw to first base for the out. Santiago struck out with runners at first and second his last time up. The only real crisis that Saberhagen has had in this game, and he struck out Santiago. The 2 runs that the Marlins got against him sort of snuck up on him. A single by Carr with no one out, and a 2-run home run by Barberie, who had had only 1 home run prior to his home run here tonight. And the curveball to Whitmore, swung on a miss. Whitmore called out on strikes his first time up. Whitmore 0 for 2. Just tore up the Pacific Coast leg, and Saberhagen's fastball off the plate, 1-1. Whitmore at Edmonton hit .355, 4th in the Pacific Coast League. He was the leader in RBIs when he left with 62, 2 base hits with 24, and base hits with 97. And that pitch, another fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike. And the off-speed pitch fouled back into the stands.
And things have been quiet tonight, Ralph, between Gary Sheffield and Todd Hundley. They had a little fisticuffs last time those 2 teams were here.
Yeah, Hundley thought that Sheffield was peeking.
He didn't think it. He knew it.
Sheffield peeking, looking for the signs and location. And Utley said something to him. Sheffield says, "I'm not peeking. I'm looking."
That's all he could say. He was taking a good look. It wasn't a peek.
There's no law against it. You can look all you want, but you got to take the consequences. And Whitmore gets a walk. First walk given up by Saberhagen. He has averaged 1.02 walks per game, and he's second in the National League to the fewest walks per game. Tewksbury of the Cardinals has averaged 1/2 a walk a game. So a runner on with 1 out, and Walt Weiss the batter. Weiss, a type of hitter that they'll use on the hit and run play.
We talked about that big series in Philadelphia. The Cardinals have gone back on top in that game, 6-5. They're in the top of the 7th inning. In fact, following this inning, we'll bring in the Nobody Beats the Wiz scoreboard. Actually, we're not going to do that. We've changed that, Ralph. We're not going to do
every
that.
half hour.
We've been doing that for
Remember
4
that.
years. They got me all messed up. They changed the scoop on us.
They're going to do it 15 after the hour and 15 before the hour.
It'll be on the bottom of the screen like you've seen a couple of times, so take a good look at it.
Walt Weiss 0 for 2 in the game. 1 strike to count. Whitmore a short lead at first. And that pitch a ball, so it's 1-1.
3.5 years of doing that. That's like I'm losing a friend.
Well, it'd be nice if they tell you they're going to do that. Matt Turner throwing in the bullpen as they get down to the pitcher's position in the batting order. Another toss to first base. Saberhagen, a very quick move to first. He has those fast feet. You need that when you're a right-hander. In fact, he's made 2 balks this year. His feet are so fast. Like the guy with the fastest draw in the West. Saberhagen 6-7 on the year. 2 of the wins against the Marlins. Tied at 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. And it's hit right back to Saberhagen. Should be an easy double play. Bogart doesn't get it. The throw by Saberhagen just a shade away and high, and Bogart had a little trouble trying to get it out of his glove as he made the catch.
He's saying it's my fault. Saberhagen waits for him, throws it. It's a little bit up, but now he has trouble getting it, as Ralph said, out of the glove. And the speed of Weiss is a factor.
Batting for the pitcher, Jack Armstrong, will be number
So that
20.
will get the pitcher out of the ball game. There's a good angle on that shot. You saw the drag of the foot across the bag, but the change of the ball from the glove to the hand just a shade slow because the possession wasn't there in time, and they could only get 1. We're going to have a pinch hitter. Greg Briley will be the pinch hitter for the pitcher, Jack Armstrong.
Briley hitting .231, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs.
Briley taking his time coming up from the on-deck circle, and this should not be allowed. The umpires have got to get that hitter up there. Ed Rapuano not doing the job he should be doing. I apologize to his wife, who follows the games in St. Petersburg, Florida, but that's the case.
Should Riley not have a chance to loosen up?
No. The game goes on. He should have been ready to be there and get in the batter's box. Why should we wait for him? He's no Rusty Staub.
Guy's got to get a chance to warm up, though, doesn't he?
Can't wait for a .231 hitter.
Boy, you're getting tough, Ralph. I like it.
And the check and the swing, he went too far, called strike.
Is that why you've been eating those strange meals, nails and brads?
Glass.
Man, I like it.
1 strike to count on Briley. Weiss the runner at first base, and that pitch a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Riley was signed by the Marlins as a free agent just before the start of the season. Played a little bit for Seattle. And he fouls off the fastball. He was originally selected by the Dodgers, but didn't sign, then selected by Cleveland and didn't sign. And selected by the Mariners and did sign. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And strike 3. So Riley strikes out as a pinch hitter. Runner left at first base. And the score at the end of 6.5 innings on the Modell scoreboard. It's the Mets 2 and the Marlins 2.
You're looking at Gary Carter and Jay Randolph in the Marlin booth. They do a little work on television. Gary Carter will have his number retired in Montreal this weekend. On Saturday night, there's a new pitcher for the Florida Marlins, Matt Turner. 1-2 record, a 2.34 earned run average. He does not have a save. 26 game in 34 2/3 innings. He has given up 25 hits, walked 9, and struck out 34. There's a good ratio.
And Gary Carter's number will be retired. Kid 8, number 8. And right after Rusty Staub's number was retired in Montreal, the ceremonies were held when the Mets were in Montreal. Very touching scene, as Rusty communicated in French to the crowd that was there. Bogar, who singled in a run his last time up with a count 2 balls and no strikes. Bogar 1 for 2 in the game. He had been struggling. He's now 5 for 35. And he has a good swing, but pops it up to the left fielder Conine. And Turner retires his first batter. That will bring up Bret Saberhagen. Jack Armstrong, a fine job for a pitcher who preferred to be singing in a rock band instead of pitching baseball when he was in high school. Leaving the ball game with a no decision. Came in with a record of 7-10. Pitched a very strong 6 innings. And Saberhagen has to duck away, ball 1.
Watch Saberhagen's elbows. Ooh, get those babies out of there, boy.
And the pitch back, fouled back, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Marlins with a good record for an expansion club. They have a record going of 42 wins, 57 losses. And this is their 100th game. Good breaking ball there. It's 1-2. The Angels had the best record of any expansion team in their first year. 435.
100 game for both teams, right?
Right, yeah. Angels were 44-56. The Senators also 44-56. The Mariners were 43-57. The Royals were 42-58. The Pilots 42-58. And a ground ball to the shortstop side, fielded by Weiss. 2 men away. And the Colt 45s, a team that Rusty was associated with, 36-64. First 100 games. Padres 34-66. The Blue Jays 34-66. The Expos, a team that Rusty played for in 1969, 33-67.
There was a 20-game losing streak mixed in there.
Mets were 26-74 in their first 100 games.
Is that the worst ever? That's the
worst ever, yeah. Marlins 42-57, and the Rockies 36-64. 2 men away, and the batter is Ryan Thompson. He fouls off his first pitch. Colt 45.
I wore that uniform, Ralph, at the Heroes of Baseball game, the Upper Deck game in Houston this past weekend. It was a reunion of the 1968 All-Star game. Some awfully good players down there. Juan Marichal, Billy Williams, Ron Santo,
None of whom played for
For Houston.
For Houston.
No, but they were at that All-Star game that took place in Houston.
Two strikes to count to Thompson, who has struck out, grounded out, and flied out in his 3 appearances tonight. And he hits it hard to left. It could be gone. It's going. It is gone. Goodbye. Ryan Thompson with his first home run of the year, and the Mets take the lead 3-2.
Well, when he hits him, doesn't he? Great strength, great speed. Rare combination. Take a look at it. He tucks that bat a little bit himself. Oh, but he powers that pitch. That is a rope.
So the Mets regain the lead as Thompson hits his first home run of the year. And it's the Mets 3 and the Marlins 2, and Joe Orsulak, the batter, and his home run in the first gave the Mets a 1-0 lead. Mets then led 2-0 after 4 on an RBI by Bogar, and then the 2-run home run by Barberie tied it in the 6th inning. And now the Mets ahead here in the 7th on the home run by Ryan Thompson. Two balls, no strikes, and Orsulak fouls it off. Thompson last year for the Mets had 3 home runs, so that's his 4th major league home run. He got his first home run in the major leagues off of Mike Morgan, a 3-run home run in his 68th at bat. And that ball fouled away, and it's 2-2. Thompson at Tidewater with 12 home runs in 60 games before being brought up by the Mets. And that fastball in the dirt, so they count 3-2 on Orsulak with Eddie Murray on deck.
Orsulak hitting 300. I mean, he's been a very fine addition to the New York Mets, but he can take some unusual hacks, can he?
And he takes outside, and the walk puts Orsulak at first base with 2 men out and brings up Eddie Murray. Orsulak, his main concern when he gets to the plate is get the bat on the ball, no matter where he is.
And again, Ralph, a pitcher walking the batter following a home run. When Saberhagen gave up the home run, he got the first pitch over, got a ground out.
So Eddie Murray, 2 for 3 tonight, steps in. He's hitting .400 since the All-Star break. And he hits a ground ball through the hole into center field. Orsulak on his way to third goes there with no throw, and the Mets have runners at first and third as Murray gets his 3rd hit of the game.
Let's take a look at it. Eddie Murray back through the middle, hits off the mound, goes a little bit towards second base, but Barberie no chance, and Orsulak goes to third easily.
So Murray with his 3rd hit, and the batter will be Bobby Bonilla, who has doubled in 3 at-bats and World Conference at the mound.
Marcel Lackman out to talk to the young pitcher.
Turner got the first 2 batters easily and then gave up the home run to Ryan Thompson to put the Mets up. Walked to Orsulak, and now a single by Murray, but he's going to stay in the game.
Barberie, as a second baseman, likes to play way away from second base, even if there's a chance with a man on first to get the double play. He did that earlier in the game and took a base hit away from one of the Met hitters. But that time, Murray went back through the middle. There was 2 down at the time, but he does play over in that hole quite a bit.
So Murray on at first base and Orsulak at third, Bonilla the batter, and Santiago having a little talk with the bench. And the breaking ball swung on and fouled down, and it's strike one.
That's Rodriguez throwing in the bullpen, but Barberie playing that far away, you know who's going to be covering at second. The hitter can put that in the back of his mind if the runner would take off at first. Obviously, Eddie Murray is not much of a stolen base threat, although he did give us a good fake tonight.
One strike pitch way away, and it's 1-1. They're playing Bonilla the pull.
Just barely in center, though. Carr just off center field, just so he can see the ball cross the plate.
And they are pitching him outside and playing him to pull in the infield a little bit near straightaway in the outfield. And that pitch ball 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you see the defensive alignment, Carr just off center, but Barberie way off second.
Right fielder straightaway in right field, and a toss to first. Murray back as Turner goes to first. Turner was signed by Atlanta as a non-drafted free agent back in '86. And again, the pitch on the outside part of the plate, the throw to first base, and Murray is picked off at first. A big mistake by Eddie Murray, getting picked up at first, but runners at first and third, and 2 men out. Taking the bat out of the hands of Bobby Bonilla, but the Mets get 1 run on the home run by Thompson, and after 7 on the Modell scoreboard, it's the Mets 3 and the Marlins 2. Mets leading 3-2 as we go to the top of the 8th inning, and Chuck Carr will lead it off for the Marlins. Carr 1 for 3 in the game, and he goes after the fastball and fouls it back into the stands. In the bullpen for the Mets, Anthony Young. Saberhagen has pitched through 7 innings, given up 2 runs on 5 hits. He has struck out 5, and he has walked 1. Back inside with a fastball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Carr was aboard as a result of a single in front of Barberie's 2-run home run that tied it up in the 6th inning. And it's low for ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. Saberhagen 2-0 lifetime against the Marlins. And a fly ball hit high in the air to right center. Thompson has a long way to go, but he gets there.
Chuck Carr, big stride and into the ball for a little guy. Hits it a long way, but not long enough in center field, Ralph. He got hit a long way in center.
Now he's got 2 home runs this year. Putting a Mel Ott approach to hitting by picking up that front foot. Ott, of course, a great hitter with 511 home runs in his major league career. One of the youngest players to ever play in the major leagues. He joined the Giants at the age of 16.
Yep. Out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
And Barberie, whose 2-run home run had tied the game in the 6th, singles hard to right field. So Barberie with his 2nd hit of the game. And he represents the time run at first base with 1 out in front of Jeff Conine.
Talking about Mel Ott from the New Orleans area. Mel Ott hit a lot of balls just like that. Hard shots through the infield.
Conine 1 for 3 tonight, 2 for 4 last night, hitting .311 on the year. He's having an outstanding rookie year, and he gets jammed with a fastball, and it is just out of play. Conine the Barbarian, he's known. Having an outstanding career. Starting this year with The Florida Marlins. 92 at Kansas City. He hit .253 in 28 games, and again he fouls it off to the right side. Again, it's out of reach and out of play. Conine opened up for the Marlins with a terrific start. As you look at Barberie at first base, he was 4 for 4 in his first game for the Florida Marlins. That matched Lou Piniella for the best first game for an expansion club ever. Piniella was 4 for 4 with the Kansas City team back in 1969. One and two the count. He hit the first Grand Slam home run ever hit by a Florida Marlin player. And the curveball in there, a called strike 3. So Conine struck out, called out. 6 strikeout for Saberhagen, and a dangerous batter sent back to the bench, and it'll bring up another.
Here's the curveball. It's a dandy. Conine quit on it. As we've said earlier in this game, you start dropping those hands a little bit, you're not going to get them back up there.
Gary Sheffield stepping in. He's 1 for 3 tonight, and he is a dangerous batter. Led the National League in hitting last year. He gets the curve, but this one called the ball. Sheffield acquired from the San Diego Padres. For the Marlins, he's hitting .256 since coming over from San Diego, but better than that overall, as Saberhagen throws the fastball on the block. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You saw him walk out and look out over the plate, semi showing the umpire up. The umpire noticed that.
1 ball, 1 strike, and the fastball, a hard smash through the shortstop position into left field. Barberie going to third base to throw correctly, coming into second. And runners at first and third as the Mets lead 3-2, and Sheffield with his second hit of the game. And that will bring out the pitching coach of the Mets, Mel Stoudemire, as Orestes Destardi will be the hitter for the Marlins.
Anthony Young is in the bullpen for the New York Mets. He's been throwing a while. Stoudemire just giving him a little more time and wanting to talk to Stoudemire. Pardon me, to Saberhagen.
So the crowd here of 24,377 seeing a good ball game tonight. 3-2 Mets, but the Marlins with runners at first and third, 2 men out, top of the 8th inning. And Saberhagen to face Destardi, who is 0 for 3. Leads the club in runs batted in with 51. And he goes after a high fastball, strike 1. Destardi, a 2-run home run in last night's ball game.
Saberhagen reached back for everything he had there. He got Destardi to chase it.
And the 1-strike pitch. Again, the fastball ripped down the right field line. This will at least tie it. Coming around from first base is Sheffield. They are waving him in. The throw to the plate. It is right there in time, and Sheffield is out. That will end the inning, and the Mets get out of the inning with just a tie as Destardi drives in the tying run with the double down the right field line, but the relay was in time. So on the Modell scoreboard at the end of 7.5 innings, it's the Mets 3 and the Marlins 3.
Do you know this number? 507-TIXX is the most convenient way to purchase Mets tickets. Now you can call the Mets ticket office directly to charge tickets by phone. Thank you for calling the Mets ticket office. Mets employees will assist you with exact seat selection for the games of your choice.
Now, with $15 box seats, we would have field level in 157 like Edward. If you'd like, I could check something a little higher up, see if we can bring you closer in. Okay, if you went to our loge level, the second level, we would have seats in section 6, row G. That's right between home plate and third base.
MasterCard, Visa, and American Express are all accepted, and the per-ticket service charge has been reduced from prior years. So to charge Mets tickets by phone and for all Mets ticket, schedule, and stadium information, call the Mets at 718-507-TIXX during business hours.
You make the call.
Tie ball game at 3, and the only reason why it's tied, this relay throw.
Hundley puts the tag on him, holds on to the ball. Good job by the Met relay group of Jeremy Burnitz and Jeff Kent, I believe, threw that pitch into Hundley.
And the first pitch to Bobby Bonilla, who is left at the plate when Eddie Murray was picked off at first base with 2 men out, nowhere to go, and a runner at third base. And now it's golfed down to the second baseman Barberie, and Bonilla, who is 1 for 3, is 1 for 4. That'll bring up Jeremy Burnitz, who is 1 for 2 in the game. Barberie, the second baseman, making the throw to first base on Bonilla to pick up the assist. And Burnitz, the batter. He singled and scored in the 4th inning.
I mean, you really wonder why a play like that can happen, Ralph, to a veteran player.
And the first pitch to Burnitz is outside, ball 1. It is inexcusable. Murray is going nowhere. A runner at third base, 2 men out. You just cannot get picked off at first. And there's a pitch inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Rene Latzman, the manager of the Florida Marlins, having a good start. The 2-0 pitch to Burnitz, the breaking ball in there, and Matt Turner with a good pitch there. And he picks up the strike. Turner working his 2nd inning, tattooed for a home run by Thompson in his 1st inning, and this ball grounded again to Barberie. And it's 2 men out.
Again, Barberie with the Met left-handed hitters playing over toward the hole, giving him everything up the middle, but taking away mostly anything to the right side.
Now the batter will be Jeff Kent, who's been held hitless tonight after a great night last night. 2 home runs and 4 runs batted in the Mets' 4-3 victory. He was robbed of an extra base hit in a brilliant play by Whitmore back in the 4th inning. Whitmore in right field making a diving catch of a drive that looked as though it was at least a 2-base hit. The breaking ball for strike 1. Now the breaking ball for ball 1. Turner's 26th game. He's 1-2 on the year with no saves. He was taken off the losing side on the run scored in the top of the 8th inning by Florida, and again the curveball, and it's 1-2. Tomorrow afternoon, the final game between these 2 clubs. It'll be Tanana against Charlie Huff. 85 years of baseball by Tanana and Huff. And it's Senior Citizen Day. And a ground ball for a base hit. Barberie makes a diving try, but unable to come up with it. If he had, he still had no chance to get the out. And Kent with his first hit of this game.
It's not pretty off the end of the bat. Just gets by Destrade. The dive by Barberie, who was playing Kent way up the middle, and an infield single.
That'll bring up Todd Hundley. Hundley 0 for 3 in this game, and he's 2 for 38 his last 38 at bats. He's had 2 hits since the All-Star break.
And back down on the handle this time.
And he chops it foul, strike 1. How about that tomorrow? Rusty, Tanana, 40 years of age, against Charlie Huff, 45 years of age, on the mound, and it's Senior Citizens Day. They should be in the stand.
Well, all I can tell you is they're both kind of what you would term finesse pitchers now. Huff always. Tanana, brilliant stuff in the early part of his career.
One strike the count. Kent a short lead at first. And Healy takes low, and it's 1-1. Fastball that time. Potential go-ahead run at first base with 2 men out in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
And Young kind of looks like he might be coming in this game, Ralph.
And the fastball fouled back, so it's 1-2.
Finishes tosses, grabbed his jacket. Standing at the door.
The decision to be made by Dallas Green, the manager of the Mets. Last time that Young came in a game was in L.A. and he worked 2 good innings, no runs, and then gave up the winning run in the 10th inning. Got his 27th loss, 27th consecutive loss. And Kent is chased back at first. Healy with a career high of 8 home runs, but it's been a long dry spell since his last one. And this one will be popped up into shallow left. So Healy's slump continues as he flies out to end the inning. 1 hit for the Mets, 1 left, and on the Modell scoreboard at the end of 8 innings of play here at Shea, it's all tied at 3.
Dawkins used to name his backboard-shattering dunks. The NBA Jam Session book has it. When you say it,
Chocolate thunder flying.
Hey, Mike, keep shaking.
Glass breaking.
I'm roasting.
One toasting.
Wham bam, glass breaker.
I am dead.
you get over 200 color photos of the greatest backboard-shattering dunks. And the complete history of slab jamming from Dr. J to Michael Jordan.
This is awesome with the pictures. They're so bright.
Okay, how about we throw in an NBA Jam Session regulation-size Spalding basketball?
Yeah, please do the wall. Thank you.
Plus, for a few who still haven't got it, a 30-minute video of Fritz shaking slam dunks. Got to debate hot music. I can keep this all book, ball, and video for an unbeatable $29.95.
Chocolate thunder flying. I ain't lying. Keep shaking, glass breaking, rope booking, blood coaching. Wham bam, glass breaking. I am dead.
Call now 1-800-648-4700. 1-800-648-4700.
Top of the 9th inning, it's all tied up, and a new pitcher in for the Mets.
Anthony Young takes the mound. It's his game. See an 0-13 record, a 4.24 earned run average, and 1 save. Game 31 for Anthony. 80 2/3 innings pitched, giving up 84 hits, walking 23 and striking out 49.
As was the case the last time he came in, he was brought into a tie game, his game to win or lose. And his first batter will be Benito Santiago, who is 0 for 3. Saberhagen, 8 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits, struck out 6, walked 1. And Young with a fastball for ball 1. Santiago taking again, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Gallagher in the ball game for the Mets. He's out in right field, so Burnitz is out of the game. Young will bat in Burnitz's spot. Gallagher will bat in the 9th spot in the batting order, and that's a strike, and it's 2-1. And a line drive, a base hit to right. So Santiago leads off with a single against Young. And that'll bring up Darrell Whitmore.
With Walt Weiss and the pitcher coming up after Whitmore, even though it is the 9th inning and a tie score, you think he's going to bunt here, Ralph?
I would be surprised if he does. He'll go to a pinch hitter, but so he will. Yeah, he will bunt. And it's bunted out in front of the plate. Hundley bobbles it, but still gets, no, he didn't get his man. And Kent is saying he was on the bag. You made the wrong call. But the first base umpire, Larry Vanover, said no, he was not in position to make the play.
Going to give a sacrifice here, and probably an error. Be the third error of the season for Todd Hundley. Could not hold on to a very close play at first.
So no matter what Young does, it all goes against him. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. And now the potential go-ahead run is at second, and runners at first and second with no one out, and Walt Weiss up, and he should be bunting.
He is talking to Cookie Rojas, the third base coach for Florida Marlins. They have discussed it. I'm sure Cookie has said if they overcharge you, don't butt into a suicide play. Mets could actually get a double play if they would execute that play correctly, if you bunt into it.
That is being scored an error against Hundley and a sacrifice. Sacrifice moving the runner down to second. And Weiss squares. And did he bunt or did he not? They checked with a third base umpire, and he said he did not bunt. So Angel Hernandez making the call at third. That's only the second error that Hundley has made this year. He won 113 games without an error. This one bunted well. Anthony Young goes to third. Nobody there, and nobody able to be put out, as Young, thinking that Bonilla would be at third, goes to throw there. Fortunately for him, he didn't throw it, or a run would have scored. And by the time he came around, he couldn't get the runner at first base. So we'll see how that one scored. But Anthony Young evidently didn't hear anybody and thought he had a play at third.
Good call, Ralph. Tough play. Here's Anthony Young, turns around as if he's going to go to third, and he does hold on. Well, that would have been really a weird play.
So now the bases are loaded, no one out. And that will bring up a pinch hitter, Rich Renteria. Renteria, pinch hitter in last night's game, struck out. The Mets are playing their infield in for a play at the plate. And Anthony Young in deep trouble here, and he misses with a curveball. Renteria hitting .273. He has 2 home runs, 23 runs batted in. He's 4 for 21 as a pinch hitter with 4 runs batted in. That's going to be scored as a fielder's choice in the sacrifice. And 2 bunt plays mishandled by the Mets, and the bases loaded, and there's a strike, and it's 1-1. So Young sweating this one out. Tie ball game at 3, but the Marlins with the bases loaded, nobody out, top of the 9th inning. The 1-1 pitch, overhand curve to third base. They're going for home. They get the play there. The throw to first base. In time, the double play. Bonilla to Hundley to Murray, and a big, big double play.
Good play by Bonilla. Gives a low throw to Hundley. Hundley, nice play. Gets up and just beats the runner with the throw. Bonilla lets it fly. You see Downen. So Hundley, there's a runner on the inside part of the base. If he would have thrown it and hit him, it would have been interference. Runner running way on the inside part of the grass.
So now runners at second and third, and this one could be trouble. It's scooped to Anthony Young. He can't make the play. It's safe, and a run scores. So Chuck Carr drives in the go-ahead run as he gets a base hit, taking everybody by surprise.
Boy, this is some bunt in the clutch. Murray playing fairly deep. AY trying to get over there. Murray, nice try to flip it in a hurry. But Carr with tremendous speed just executed the drag bunt as good as you want to do it. That is a gutsy play, isn't it?
Comes off, and Young now on the losing side of this ball game as Whitmore scores from third base, and that'll bring up Bret Barberie, who has homered and singled in 4 at-bats. A 2-run home run in the 6th inning, a single that started a 1-run rally to tie it in the 8th inning. And on the pitch, foul ball, and it's strike 1.
As they say, just when you thought it was safe, it looked like Anthony Young was going to get out of that jam. But that is a spectacular play by the speedy Carr.
When you lose 27 games in a row, everything has to go against you. And again, an unusual way to
At the Plate is your place for super baseball talk.
I just think it's tougher and tougher to be a fan today. All you guys hit 4 or 5 home runs, but I hit one big one. If you don't win, you're in big trouble.
At the Plate with Rusty Staub, Thursday at 8 on Sports Channel.
I was a little surprised not to see John Franco. And look, we don't know about some soreness in his elbow or something. I'm surprised he was not warming in that inning. Did work yesterday, 1 in the 3rd inning. They are deciding not to run him up there again. So the Mets are going for a pinch hitter. It's going to be Jeff McKnight, the pinch hit for Tim Bogan. Very successful at pinch hitting team with 41 pinch hits. They in the National League, so if that goes to the team, has to pinch hit a lot because they're behind the ball game. But they have done well, and the first pitch ripped to right field, and McKnight, another fine job of pinch hitting. McKnight, a pinch hitter yesterday, was out in a fine play. 9th pinch hit. On one pitch, he meant to have the run at first base. The batter will be Dave Gallagher, who was put in the ball game when Anthony Young was brought in and put in the 9th position in the batting order. Batting for the first time, and he takes the ball 1. Gallagher short lead at third base, and Jack is running to the pitcher's side, and he comes up with the ball, and Harvey throws to first base to Barberie covering there, and on the sacrifice, the Mets have the time run at second with 1 out in the ninth. So it's up to Ryan Thompson, who homered to put the Mets up in the 7th inning, put them up by a score of 3-2. Mets led 1-0 after 1, 2-0 after 4. They were tied after 5.5 and 2-2, led 3-2 after 7, and then were tied with a run in the 8th, and now behind with a run in the 9th by the Marlins. Vince Coleman right there on the bench. He did not start. So he is available. Did not play in yesterday's ball game. And the first pitch by Harvey to Thompson, taken low for ball 1. Thompson 1 for 4 in this game. Got a big home run. His first home run this year for the Mets. And it's looped out toward right field. Might drop in. And it will. Coming around from second base. The score is McKnight, and it's tied at 4. Off of the hook. Yes, he is. He does not hit as hard as the home run, but it's late another single run for the New York Mets. So he hit a bullet in the left center for a home run. A little dying whale down the right field line is driving another. It counts just as much. And now Johnson is first base, and the batter is Orsulak, who homered his first time up. Then he pops it up to left. Cohenine in left field makes the play, and Orsulak is out. So now 2 men away. The winning run is at first base, and the batter is Eddie Murray. Murray 3 for 4 tonight. So Brian Harvey blowing the save. It's only the 3rd time this season that has happened. Chance to pick up a loss as Eddie Murray steps in.
Murray has been red hot. 3 for 4 tonight. 4 for 7 in this series, and hitting well over 400 since the All-Star break. He has had 4 home runs. And he drives it down the right field line. It is fair. Maybe the Mets will win it. Coming around from first to third is Thompson. He's coming in, and the Mets win it. And they win it 5-4.
And Anthony Young has broken the streak. AY gets the victory. Anthony Young has finally broken 27 games in a row. The Mets come back for a great victory. And I mean, they're happy. And rightly so. Look at them. They're all so happy for that young man. Wow. The gorilla is off his back.
And what a gorilla it was.
Look at him. That's great. Fans love it. Standing ovation. That is heartwarming. You can see how much his teammates feel about him. And I'll tell you, Ryan Thompson was flying around those bases. My word. Ralph, if we could run like that, we're going to play when we were 50.
An unbelievable ending to the losing streak. It looked like he was going to be given his 28th consecutive loss as he gave up a run in the top of the 9th inning to be on the losing side of the ball game. But McKnight, as a pinch hitter, singled. He was sacrificed to second. Thompson, a bloop base hit to right to tie it. And the double by Eddie Murray to win it for the Mets in the ball game. And here it is again. Whitmore trying to field it. Thompson just flying around the bases. No chance for a play at the plate. And Anthony Young is off of the hook. And this crowd giving him a standing ovation as he comes out to take a bow. What a great moment for Anthony Young. What a happy night, and it looked like it was going to be just the other way. So the Mets come from behind to win it with 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and we'll be back with a wrap. The score of the ball game, it's a Mets 5 and the Marlins 4. Mets win it 5-4, and right there, something you haven't seen for a long, long time. Anthony Young, the winning pitcher, his first win of the year. Against 13 losses, he had lost 27 in a row. It looked like it was going to be 28 here tonight as he left the mound in the top of the 9th inning on the losing side of the ballgame. Heartwarming moment.
It was great to see how his teammates embraced him. He was very excited. He came out for a little, like the guys that hit home runs. He came out for a little second ovation. The crowd loved it. You know how happy everybody is for that guy. I think there are even people in the game who are happy to see him actually get out of this problem. But Ralph, why don't we take a look at this Budweiser play of the game? It is the last play of the game, and I'll tell you what, Eddie Murray with his 4th hit of the game, a line shot down the line, and Ryan Thompson is flying around the bases. What speed! Not even a chance to get him. Ball just touching the infield when he scores, and nobody's excited at all, are they? That is fantastic. That's our Budweiser play of the game, and we will be back.
Well, once again, the longest losing streak by a pitcher in Major League history is over, as Anthony Young was the winning pitcher after 27 consecutive losses. And once again, the final score, the New York Mets 5 and the Florida Marlins 4. Remember, tomorrow, call in and talk with Rusty and his guests on At the Plate with Rusty Staub, live at 9 o'clock. That's 9 p.m. The Mets return to Sports Channel Friday night at 8:30 when they take on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Coming up next on the extra inning, Fran Healy's guest will be Anthony Young. Now for Rusty Staub and Fran, this is Ralph Kiner saying so long until Friday, and thanks for watching Mets baseball right here on Sports Channel.
Well, there it is. AY wins. The streak is over. Welcome back to Shea Stadium, everybody. I'm Fran Healy. This is Extra Inning, and my special guest, the star of tonight's game, and a guy who handled this streak very, very well, Anthony Young. And Anthony, did you ever think that this thing was going to end?
Well, I knew one day it had to end. I knew I couldn't lose for the rest of my life. I was just wanted to end a lot sooner than it did. I'm just thankful that it's over with now.
What went through your mind in the game tonight?
When I came in and I fell behind, and he got a base hit, and just wanted to get a ground ball the next play, and he bunted him over. Todd made an error, but then when I had runners at first and second, I was like, here we go again. Then they bunted shortstop, and Todd told me third, and when I went to throw to third, Bobby wasn't there. So the base was loaded, and I was like, I had to try it again, try to end it again another day, but I made a good pitch, got a double play. Then Chuck Carr made a good bunt to get in the go-ahead run. So I knew I had to get the next batter. I didn't want them to score 2 runs, so it would give me a better chance of going in there and let my team give me a win with 1 run ahead instead of 2. So I ended up striking the next batter out and went in the dugout, and I was just praying that they would score 2 runs.
What advice would you give to somebody, now that the streak is over, who is having a streak of bad luck, no matter what it was in?
Well, like I said, I went to a couple of elementary schools and talked to kids. You can be doing bad in school or whatever you say the streak is. Mine just happened to be in a professional sport, and it was looked at, more than I really wanted it to. But if you're having something that's going wrong, you know, you just got to hang in there and just go out there and do the best you can at all times. Don't never get down on yourself. And I'm just thankful that my managers never got down on me and kept running me out there so I can, you know, get a chance to win.
In a quiet moment during the streak, did you ever doubt your ability?
Never. I know what I can do, and like I said, I'm quite sure that my managers did, and the Mets organization knew what I can do. Because, like you say, there's a lot of teams out there was trying to make trades for me, but the Mets wouldn't get rid of me. So evidently, that tells you something there.
What did you learn about people? You were getting a lot of things in the mail. Even tonight, you got flowers on the field after you broke the streak.
Well, that's true. You know, like it was a lot of fans behind me. And I'm just thankful for that. You know, they held in there with me through thick and thin. It's over with, and hopefully I can start a 27-game winning streak now.
Which is a possibility. Which is a definite possibility. A lot of teams very interested in Anthony Young. You mentioned your manager. I was very impressed at the way he handled this whole situation. In one of the games, all of a sudden the run started coming in against the Mets. You were pitching. He sprinted out to the mound. I know Dallas can run, but we don't see him sprint too much. But he sprinted out to the mound to talk to you.
That was against Pittsburgh. I remember when he grabbed me around the waist and he told me just to settle down and go out to hitters like I know I can. And he settled me down, and I went out to the hitters, and then I'm getting out of the inning.
Well, we're going to show the manager right now at the end of this ball game. Here's his reaction. You think Dallas is happier this thing is over than you?
Yes, the team is. The team was behind me. They were jumping up and down. It was like we had won the World Series. They was out congratulating me, hugging me, and stuff like that. It felt good to let you know that your team was behind you 100% like that.
AY, congratulations. You handled it very, very well. Well, one last question before you go. Do you think, you know, when you're 50 years old, that you can use Madison Avenue to make some money off of this losing streak?
Well, I hope so. I hope I started before I get 50.
AY, congratulations. He's our Texaco star of the game. So congratulations to Anthony Young. He wins the ball game tonight. The streak is over, and we'll be back. Well, it's all over here at Shea Stadium. The Mets over the Marlins for their second win against the Marlins, and the third game will be tomorrow afternoon. The final game of this three-game series will be played right here in the afternoon at Shea Stadium. Now, let's take a look at the highlights from tonight's ball game. The Mets started the scoring in the first as Joe Orsulak hits the shot to right field. Darryl Whitmore helps the ball over the fence, and it was a 6th home run of the year for Orsulak. 1-0 the Mets on top of the Florida Marlins. Then in the fourth, Tim Bogars singled to drive in Jeremy Burnitz, and the Mets had a 2-0 lead. The Marlins tied it in the sixth as Bret Barberie takes Bret Saberhagen deep for his second home run with Chuck Carr on base, and we were all tied at 2. The Mets regained the lead in the seventh as Ryan Thompson blasted his first home run off Matt Turner, hit it over the left field wall. The Mets lead was 3-2. Ryan Thompson doing the job since being recalled from the minor leagues. The Marlins came back in the eighth as Areste Destrada doubles into right field. Bret Barberie scores. Relayed throw nails Gary Sheffield at the plate. The score was all tied at 3. In the ninth, Anthony Young's bad luck continued as Chuck Carr lays down a perfect bunt, and Eddie Murray can't get the out at first. Run scores. It was 4-3 at that time. But then, in the ninth, the Mets came back. We're going to see it right here. Ryan Thompson bloops in, a base hit. Jeff McKnight scored. Then AY's streak gets broken as Eddie Murray drives the ball down the line. Ryan Thompson races home the score, and the Mets win 5-4. Anthony Young gets the win after 27 consecutive losses. So congratulations to number 19, Anthony Young. And quite a scene here at Shea Stadium. His teammates mobbing Anthony Young, and Dallas Green, who's done a great job with Anthony Young during the streak, was about the happiest man in the ballpark. And we'll be back. Well, back here at Shea Stadium, we're watching an extra inning. I'm Fran Healy. It's all over. The second game of this three-game series. The Mets beating the Florida Marlins, and Anthony Young broke his streak. He got the victory. So he's now 1-27, and he wants to win 27 games in a row. While we have the time, let's take a look at the scoreboard and check the scores throughout baseball. Starting in the senior circuit, Where the Cubs got past the San Diego Padres 8-6 at Wrigley Field. Randy Myers getting his 31st save of the season. Sammy Sosa hit a home run for the Cubs, his 20th of the season. Dodgers nipping the Giants 2-1 at Candlestick Park. Tom Candiotti got the win. Bud Black took the loss. Jim Gott picked up save number 18. Excuse me. Pirates and the Expos are all tied at 2 in the 9th inning in Pittsburgh. Cardinals losing to the Phillies. The Phillies hammering the Cardinals. They are in the 9th inning. It's 14-6. Darren Dalton hit a grand slam home run. Excuse me. Todd Zeile also hit a grand slam in that ball game. The Reds losing to the Astros 4-2. Rockies on top of the Braves 2-1. And in the American League, the Yankees on top of the Tigers. The final score 12-7 in an afternoon contest. Don Mattingly, Pat Kelly, and Paul O'Neill homered for the Yanks in that ball game. Bob Wickman got the win. He's now 9-3 in the season. And the Indians and the White Sox over the Indians 9-4. Blue Jays 5, Orioles 4. That's the final score. In the 6th inning, it's 6-4. The Red Sox over the Brewers. B.J. Surhoff hit a home run in that ball game. Only his 2nd home run of the season. It was a solo shot. In the 7th inning, at Ewan Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, it's Rangers 6, Royals 3. Rafael Palmeiro hit his 22nd home run of the season in that ball game. In the 2nd inning, the A's won, the Angels nothing. Also, out on the West Coast, the Mariners and the Twins have no score. They're in the 3rd inning. Now, Ken Griffey Jr., going for the record of the 8 home runs in 8 consecutive games, struck out in his first at-bat in Seattle. Well, once again, history was made here tonight. Anthony Young breaking his streak, picking up his first victory after 27 consecutive losses. And remember, the Mets return to Sports Channel on Friday night at 8:30 when they travel to St. Louis for a 3-game series with the Cardinals. Our coverage starts with Subaru's Mets on deck at 8:15. This is Fran Healy for the crew here at Shea Stadium saying so long. See you Friday night in St. Louis.
Record-breaking 27-game losing streak, but through it all, he's been a terrific sport. And the New York Times editorial said that he endured the streak with remarkable dignity. On July 28th, he finally won a game against the Florida Marlins. Please welcome from the New York Mets, Anthony Young. It's good to meet you. Yeah. First, maybe I thought you were going to punch me out or something there.
When I heard about all the jokes you've been doing about me, but I let you live on that.
You know, it was Branford. Branford every night would say, Jay, I say, it doesn't seem right, Branford. Right. But he would say,
no, Branford was behind me. I know that.
Oh, no, Branford was he was...
yeah, right.
He was Fredo. He was the bad brother.
That's the only Met fan we have in L.A.
But you've had a pretty good sense of humor about it. I mean, has it been sort of rough, just people kind of...
Well, then people that don't know baseball, you know, I had a losing streak, but I don't think I was pitching that bad when I was going through the losing streak. A couple of games I know I should have lost, but overall, I know I should have won a lot of them.
Yeah. Now, you were always pretty good with reporters, stuff like that. Did you ever get sick of the media, though, just watching every step, every second? Did it drive you crazy?
Well, when I got close to tying the record, it looked like media was coming from everywhere, and everybody wanted to do interviews, people I had never heard of.
Yeah.
So I couldn't turn my back. Whenever I turned my back, somebody wanted to talk. So I got it to a point where if I made an appearance in a game, I would talk then, but I wouldn't talk no more until I made another appearance. Because, you know, some people I can talk to you one day, then the next day somebody will tell me when I missed it, could I talk to you? I'm like, nope, you would have to wait till the next time.
Yeah. Well, we have a clip here from your win. For those who don't know, let's take a look here. Let's take a look.
Glorious moment. Huh?
Glorious moment.
And he drives it down the right field line. It is fair. Maybe the Mets will win it. Coming around from first to third is Thompson. He's coming in, and the Mets win it. And they win it 5-4.
And Anthony Young has broken the streak. AY gets the victory. Anthony Young has finally broken 27 games in a row. The Mets come back for a great victory. And I mean, they're happy. And rightly so. Look at them. They're all so happy for that young man. Wow. The gorilla is off his back.
And what a gorilla it was.
Now, what was going through your mind when you said, finally, this stupid streak is ended here?
But you don't know. I came in when the game was tied. I had gave up another run. And I thought I was going to lose my 28th in a row. You know, it was frustrating. I was sitting on the bench, and we pitch hit for someone. And Jeff McKnight, I believe, led off with a base hit. We burned him over. And Ryan Thompson got a blue base hit over the first baseman's head. That's how I lost a lot of my games, on blue base hits. So we tied the game on that, and then Eddie got a double down the right field line. And I was just so happy. I believe Ryan was jumping up in the air before he even crossed home plate. Everybody was so happy for me. Even though we were having a bad season, they felt like we had won the World Series when they finally won the game.
Now, how did you... I know, did you have any sort of good luck charms, a coin or anything, like rabbit's foot, anything?
I mean, one of the news channels went on there and told everybody to send some. And I mean, we was in San Francisco, and I got a box of stuff. I mean, I got rabbit's feet, I got coins, old women like 80-some years old sending me their good luck dollars, and they've been had it for over 50 years. And, I mean, people just wanted me really to win. I mean, people was behind me 100%.
But did you pick one? Did you say, this is my lucky one? Did you take one with you?
I just tried them all. I was willing to try anything that'll help, anything. I'm not superstitious, but at that time, I was willing to try anything to try to get that off my back.
Now, who had the record before this?
Cliff Curtis.
Now, that was...
86 years ago. 86 years ago. It'd probably be 100 before somebody break mine, but I want somebody to break mine.
I heard you heard from, like, that guy's great-grandson.
Well, I did an interview. I can't remember what sports channel it was, and then they sent me the tape of it, and his great-grandson was like, the record been in the family for 86 years, please don't break it. I was like, you can have it 86 more years. I didn't want it. But unfortunately, I broke it, and, you know, it's not the way to be known, but hopefully I can go out there and save so many games in a row and break another record.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, did you ever lose your temper at any one point here?
Well, I'm not the type. After I lose a game, I like to go in there, take a shower, and get home. But we was in Montreal, and I lost the game. And walking through the tunnel on the way, I thought it was a tin trash can, but I kicked something, and it happened to be brick. I almost broke my toe. So I say I would never do that again. So after a loss, I just go in there and think about it a while, and then go back home or go back to the hotel, and, you know, go back to the stadium the next day.
Do you have any advice to other? Because, I mean, even though we did do some jokes, and I thought, you know, people like you are real good for the game. I mean, it's classy, and kids watch it and see that, oh, you have a streak of bad luck, and you don't lose your cool. You deal with it in the right way, in a sportsmanlike way. Do you have any advice for people like that?
Yeah, like when I was going through the streak, I went to a couple of elementary schools and talked to kids. You know, like when things are going bad from you, I don't think you should hide from it. You know,
yeah.
Just face up to your problems. Don't turn to drugs or anything like that, because that's not the answer to anything. You know, just keep your faith. You know, I never lost confidence in myself, and I don't think the Mets lost.
Good luck to you. We won't let Branford do any more of those gags. Anthony Young.